put that up on the screen, right?
That won't demonetize us at all.
Yeah, not at all.
We're live.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
no.
live, by the way. I wanted to see how far that went. Hello, everybody. We're live. I have... Oh, hey, look at that. Speaking of which, that's one of the things that I have not succeeded in getting working on, because I've switched computers.
That's all.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I gotta fix. Excuse me. Audio levels are probably all gonna be out of whack. So, yeah. Let me if I need to change anything on that side. Okay.
You sound a little
No. I have the ability
Keep
to
it going,
ban
guys.
people.
Keep it going.
I do. I am a moderator on this channel.
It can't ban me. I'm also a moderator.
No.
Wait, is Metz not a moderator?
Metz is
No,
a
I'm not.
moderator of the
I thought you were a
Discord.
mod on the Discord. Okay.
Oh, right.
Okay. So
I'm not in enough
those
of
are
these.
subscriptions, which are advantages, I guess, for both.
All right.
Fan
I give it to
and-
Lucian.
Okay.
Okay. Give it to me. I was gonna say if I give mine to you, you give yours to me, and then we'll call it even. But nope.
Sorry, I get a lot.
Denise
That's
has
fine.
plenty, I think.
Yeah, I don't, so I'm taking mine.
Okay. All right. Hey, what are we
We're just gonna
doing?
go
What are we
Mark.
playing? Who are you? Let's do that. Fan, who are you? Who are you playing as?
I'm saying I'm playing Kronk the half-orc barbarian who likes to smash.
Metz.
I'm Denise. I am a half-elf druid.
And
I like to party.
yes. And Capjack?
Hey, everybody. I'm Capjack, and tonight I'll be playing Lucian, the Tiefling Warlock.
Wait, you're playing a warlock?
And he likes to do murder parties more than anything, really.
Murder parties.
And Onisama-chan.
And I'm Win, the dwarven cleric who also likes to party.
Okay, that is the order. I will manage everything else. You just have to remember that is the order that you intro and outro now, okay?
Okay, I can remember that.
I'm number 2.
All right,
I am number 1.
are we ready to play?
And is number 1.
2 is not a winner, and 3 no bot. I'm sorry.
Are we ready to play?
I'm
Oh,
pretty sure
Can we
we're
do some
already
D&D
playing.
tonight?
We got-
Or are we just gonna...
500 bits from Metz Girl to give Crunk another advantage.
Wow.
I would like to retract my previous advantage giving to myself and give it to Win instead,
Ah,
Aw.
since I now have this one.
wonderful.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you.
Okay,
You are welcome.
so, who wants to recap? I mean, the last session was meaningful, but maybe a bit more than that. Like, recap just recent history. What's been going on? How have we gotten to where we are now?
Oof.
Who wants to do that?
We
That's a
own the
lot.
world.
I think
Everyone bends
Lucian's
the
probably
knee.
the one with the best memory out of all of us.
And the best
Most
notes,
definitely.
I think.
Wait, you
The
guys
one
take
that
notes?
takes notes.
It's the extent of my notes for this campaign.
Yep. So,
You?
most
Yo.
recently, there was a giant war. We won because the other people are really bad at war. I mean, just the literal worst. You
Yeah,
don't set
like,
up
I'm an idiot
like
and-
stands and do concessions for war unless, you're really, really gonna win.
They were selling merch. It was stupid.
We could have put up stands and,
and then we
sold
and then we smashed.
I should have gotten a
We
poster,
did.
man.
And so then
The Mimic King did
we
put up a
went to
launch
see-
fair when he was watching.
He did. But like I
Yeah,
said,
before he had to
unless
catch
you
a
know
city.
you're gonna win, you don't stunt like that. It's just not gonna work well for you. So Then we went to the city because Lucian had tracked down his old mentor slash owner, Awkward, and found this broken, huddled old man that was all like, "You must forgive me. If you don't, the cycle will never be broken." And Lucian's like, "Yeah, okay, no problem. I totally forgive you." And then, offered him, "You know what? And I'm gonna help you no less." And so then he stabbed him and then reincarnated him into a brand new body. And oh man,
As one does.
poor guy thinks that's what forgiveness looks like. No, Lucian's just the worst. But yeah, and then like we met with some of the people of the city, and by people I mean the underworld. So now we more or less are gonna run that. And yeah, and then there was a shit river. Oh, it was so bad.
That was
So bad.
It was more than just a river. It was more like a tidal wave.
The
I
Punami.
kept my mouth closed. What kind of idiot opened his mouth with poop?
I don't know. Just
Probably idiots
I'm
over
kind
in
of-
Waterdeep.
yeah, right. They totally would do that.
Those morons over there.
Is that why there's so much water?
Oh,
Pretty deep.
yeah.
all right.
And then yeah, so and then there was like this heartfelt moment with a kid, and Lucia got stabbed in the neck, and everything's fine now.
It's great.
Yeah.
So it was a typical Tuesday.
How does it like,
Exactly.
Michael?
All right. So the 4 Mimic Knights. So real quick, this part of the game time is going to be much looser. You guys will be able to play around with stuff. We'll be able to go back and say we did things retroactively and stuff. So we're just going to have fun with this because right now you're all in control of the situation pretty much.
Don't we have to find that one lady?
Which lady? I don't.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out later. don't worry.
Well, no, I don't
Whatever.
know who you're
That's fine.
talking about, and I'm concerned.
The Mimic King's,
dog?
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about. I was like, did I invent
Oh.
an NPC? Just
No,
Crook's
no,
like,
the
oh yeah,
other one.
that lady.
Yeah, that lady.
Immediately
Well,
just
you were
like
talking about the
slams
other
him in the
ladies.
trash can.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that one.
No, yeah. I mean, we can.
Yeah,
I guess we can think
you
about
can
that
leave
later.
now if
want.
you want to, but you will leave the entire kingdom kind of just off to whatever
Unprotected.
happens to it. And you have not really secured the Wilds people of the
Well,
plains yet, so they'll probably just demolish everything by the time you get back.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
we
we
need
should
to
probably
don't
get
do
them
that.
back to the
We
place.
should-
I mean,
Yeah, we should just get rid of them. No harm, no foul.
I just
Well, yeah.
oh,
Well, no, them and also
Isn't that
the
your
rest of the
family?
plains people are like they're under
Yeah, not
your
just the ones
military
that don't
control,
listen to us.
but like they don't know how to live in peace times. So
We will set the ones we like against the ones we don't like.
no.
What
We
if
just
the
need to
ones
hold
we
a
like
very, very
lose?
loud banquet.
My
Then walk out to the room, and the room eats them. I mean, really, it's that simple.
all right, so
Crunk is not built
That
for
sounds
deep thought.
traumatizing.
the 4 of you are in the throne room of your castle, and
But imagine we're just having this conversation
sure,
in
yeah,
character. Okay.
and Blackshire, the person
Mimic cats.
formerly known as Grigori.
Grigor.
Sorry. Formerly human, now a dragonborn, which is a species that no one around here has ever seen before, so people are quite spooked.
Pretty weird.
Walks in to your castle and has a report to deliver. Over the past few weeks, he's been gathering info, trying to stabilize the cities and all that, and so he's got a report for you.
You may approach.
It works.
I have
Oh,
a
yeah.
list of things that require your attention.
What do we have?
Firstly, the dwarves request your presence for the war funerals.
Oh yeah, yeah. Should we split up for that?
No, we should all go.
Oh, or yeah. you're right.
Secondly,
We're all family.
the elves send message that they are awaiting your arrival for whatever they're doing. They didn't explain.
Pretty
That's
sure
very
liberating an entire forest.
Whatever that is. Thirdly, I've been finding these around the cities. And he approaches and hands whoever wants to take it a pamphlet, a piece of paper.
Crunk is out.
It is just a block of text that names the four of you as individuals, naming you as monsters, as evil conquerors, who have come and killed many of the kinsmen of the city people, who have disrupted all major organizations and ruined the lives of most of the people that live in the cities. People who have now appointed some draconic monster as quote-unquote regent, and as well as a bunch of accusations that have assorted validity. Some digging had been done into your past, it looks like, and it says that the Mimic Knights orchestrated the death of one of their own members, the dwarf formerly known as Sebastian, and
How would they
assorted
know about that?
things like that.
Wait, no, they have
They
zero
should
way of
know
knowing
about
that.
The dwarves know about it, and that
They would've-
that is notable that this
Oh.
whoever has done this
information.
has been it's the information exists, but it's not easy to acquire.
No, yeah.
That should be known.
Fucking TMZ.
And other sort of things like that. Some of these things are absolutely true, and are not flattering to you, and some of them are partially true, and some of them are entirely fabricated. But
I want to know some
It's
of the
quite-
fabricated ones.
well, stuff that you are all immortal creatures from like 1,000 years ago that have come to take this land away from
That
them,
could be
and
true. They
That
don't
sounds
know
so
Made it
cool.
I want that.
Yeah, that's totally
I
true.
wish that was true.
No,
Yep.
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
There's nothing
we're-
it can't
True.
be.
No, I
We're
want
okay
people
with
to
that
believe
part, right,
that.
guys?
Yeah.
Yes,
Are we cool with this?
absolutely.
We're gonna
not
make
this
sure to
part.
point to that part and be like, "This is the only true thing here."
Yes, we should definitely play that up. That's excellent.
but anyway, so there's that, and it is he's so far, and Blackshire has considerable skill. He has been incapable of finding the source, but they've been appearing in all of the cities, and occasionally can be found in the dwarven
How many
halls as well.
printing presses are there in the cities?
Yeah, where did the printing press come
That is
from?
not a technology that is known of
Yeah.
existing.
So it's handwritten. They're all handwritten.
What would it be? History? I mean, not really history, but that's the there's
Word of mouth.
there's not a literature skill check.
Okay, you're making me roll for this,
An
basically.
something intelligence based, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
I would think
Arcana, history,
craft.
nature, religion.
History makes sense.
You know, I think
Just-
just history. As much
or
as it's not, it's just that history would be
Okay.
the type of thing that you would go into to learn about it.
Crunk will think really hard too. He wants to try.
All right.
Oh wait. Either way, I did well. I'm sorry, I did not mean to click that 3 times.
All right. Well, your first
Feel
one
free to
was
use
a
the nat
17,
20
which
though.
is pretty good. We got a 9 from Lucian, and a 5 from Crunk. Very nice. And
On brand.
Oh, did you want me to roll
I
too?
don't care. You don't have to if
If
you don't want to. But you get a
Yeah.
19, so very nice.
Oh yeah, sorry. I knew that. I just whatever.
Denise would look at it and just be like, well, it's obviously not handwritten. Or, like, it looks weird. Because, it like, you just know natural things, how people work, and you're just like, that's not natural like writing of a
Handwriting.
person.
I guess I forgot magic.
Oh yeah, that
That thing.
magic.
Yeah.
When you would
Entirely
know that
plausible.
there's no such thing as a printing press, but the dwarves have been working on stuff that kind of could do that sort of thing. Like it's a giant stone tablet that then can imprint. It then can create
So-
indentations into metal and leave messages. But like kind of like that. So you're aware that that's a conceivable idea. The rest of you, that just idea of a printing press has not come up yet. Like notes are written by hand. There's really no other way. But Denise knows it looks weird, and Wynn knows of kind of a possible way in which that could have happened.
I wonder if it's from our new friends up the way with the glass city thing that fell from the sky.
Oh. It's a bit awkward. Why would they be against us? We did save them.
As far as
I mean,
I can report, and I do have a few more things to mention. As far as I can gather, they have entirely isolated themselves within their city. I've had a spy watching their doors, and unless they're digging underground, they have not exited the city once in these past few weeks.
Could there have been somebody that went in though?
Possibly.
Or
But, well,
We
no,
should
actually.
send,
I've been watching, and they have entirely closed themselves off. They've only allowed mimic spies to enter, mostly because they're attempting to be courteous to you. Finally, the last thing is that a structure has begun to appear in a similar fashion as to yours, that it sort of has grown out of the ground.
where is this?
Up north, just past the forest where the tradesmen savages formerly lived.
Oh, where have they moved to?
They've moved closer to the city so they can do trading.
Sure, that makes sense.
There is a
Oh, and the one guy has to do with like all the trading stuff, right? Is that in action now?
How is he handling those economics books I gave him?
well, he is forcing peasants to read them for him. But he seems to be doing quite well and is devouring the vacuums left behind by the guild masters.
Excellent.
But this
Okay.
structure is a spire of mirrors, it appears.
Ooh.
The few tests that have been conducted have shown it to be nigh impervious to structural damage.
What is a mirror?
Do we have mirrors? That's a good question.
That's a thing. Yeah.
I would think we would have mirrors.
Okay. There, it's the reflective.
And I just kind of point to the wall and ask a mirror to appear.
And it does.
Hey.
What the fuck?
Really?
You've never seen a mirror before, dude?
You've never like looked into a lake and been like, "Oh, look at me." Never,
Why would I do that?
cause it's
You
cool.
can shave. Oh, right. Ooh.
It's me.
Yes, it's you.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yes.
I'm gonna cast minor illusion to make the mirror image do something different.
And you like wave your hand and it like holds its hand there for just a second longer and then continues on.
It does this.
Mm-mm. I don't trust it.
Anyway,
Gonna be all right, man.
it has, how should I put it, taken in a party of adventurers. They have not yet returned.
Oh.
When you say taken in, what do you mean? They went questing inside of it, or?
Yes.
Hmm.
Damn
Took them in.
adventurers, anyway.
They never came out. And that was
It must be really
4 days
good in
ago.
there.
So
It's not like
Still
a
sounds like a real fun house.
possible that
Right.
they're okay, but not likely.
It must be really good. They don't want to come out. They must be having
When
so
you say
much
it
fun.
sounds more a little familiar
It's
to what we went through,
intriguing.
and that's worrisome.
Your particular affinities might glean you some information that my spies are not able to get if you want to inspect
Affinities.
it.
Well, let's take a look at it. Give me a moment. And
Do you mind if I return to the
Lucian's gonna
city? Or should I go with
please
you?
do. And
Mm.
Nah, you
oh
don't have
no,
to
I'm
go
not going anywhere. I'm just going to look at it.
Alright.
Well, I feel like that would involve going to look at it.
No, no need.
No, you're just gonna
Um,
look at it from here.
Scrying.
So,
Oh right.
Why is
magic.
crying gonna help?
Magic. I know, it's a thing.
oh, actually, here's what I need. I need to send one of the scout mimics
Yep.
to look at it so that I can see it.
You send Mortimer?
Mortimer.
Yeah, although at this point, like,
Can
one
we
of the
have
things that
more
Lucian will have
Mortimers?
wanted to be doing in this meantime kind of space
Mhm.
is building more mimics.
Yeah.
Different kinds of mimics
More
and
Mortimers.
more Mortimers and cat mimics and things like that.
More murder mimics?
We
What?
need we need eyes everywhere.
Yeah.
Do you want to implement the
That's
Mimic
a lot
Gold
of bites.
plan?
The what?
Mimic what? plan?
Mimic Gold plan. That as money is
What?
minted, that you would introduce mimics as some of the currency?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Just like a good handful sprinkled in there.
Limited edition.
Alright.
Ultra rare.
Mortimer arrives at the spire, and it appears to be these smooth curving pieces that then go out into sharp blades and spikes off towards the sky. These spikes are purely ornamental. Unless it's like trying to ward away dragons or something. It's, they're really big and structural. Like, they're not going to ward away like
I mean, we
individuals.
do have a dragon.
True.
Mhm.
So.
He begins to move kind of through the spectrum of his vision. Goes just regular vision, then goes like kind of dark vision, a heat vision sort of thing, and a magic sight, and it's definitely magical. And then he goes to a different one of just sort of taking in assorted senses, and you all, or whoever's using Mortimer's senses and eyes, would feel the presence of a mimic. A
Yeah, that's what I
powerful,
figured.
large mimic is somewhere inside there. However,
Lady.
for further scrying, it seems the spire itself seems to be shielded in some fashion from conventional scrying.
Mhm.
I see.
Actually, that's a good idea. Lucian would like to cast scrying and scry for that person he saw in the mirror way back in the beginning.
All right, can you pull up the rules for scrying so we can look at those?
I can.
Do you want to read them out, actually? Well, that's a
There's
lot of
a lot-
text. Hang on, let me just cliff note it.
Let's skim.
Yeah, so it allows you to see and hear a creature that you choose that is on the same plane of existence. They make a wisdom saving throw. Okay. So there's a modifier depending on how much you know about them.
Mm-hmm.
So You have
Met them.
Well, no. So I think you are at the point between second hand and first hand, right here. So
Okay.
second hand is a +5 to the DC, having like heard of them. First hand is having met them.
Yeah.
It's not as good as first hand, but better than second hand. So we're gonna add 5 to the DC.
Would
Not
I,
to
however,
the DC, to their save. That's how it is.
would I, however, be able to get anything from them, from the Mimic King?
Likeness
Picture,
or
possession, body part.
You just find one of our toenail clippings on the floor.
It's like, I've been keeping these.
Well, so in some ways it's not as good. In some ways you can do better. The Mimic King made her. So, because she's a mimic, she doesn't really shed bits. She just kind of, if she's like, oh, that nail needs to be shorter, she just kind of reabsorbs it.
Yeah.
But
That'd be great.
yeah, that would be fantastic. But she also was made by him, and he kind of maybe has some trace, kind of
Similarities.
her core essence held on to.
Okay.
And so he can. So I think what we'll do is we'll essentially give you firsthand, kind of evening all the different things that are going on out. We'll just, she'll get +0 to her save against it.
At a DC of 18.
All right. We're gonna do that. Where's my D20s?
Uh-oh.
All right.
Whoa.
Okay. So I rolled a 2, and so she fails.
Wait. Really?
So, well, that is kind of potentially campaign boss level, so it can be close. On a failed save, the spell creates an invisible sensor within 10 feet of the target. You can see and hear through the sensor as if you were there. The sensor moves with the target, remaining within 10 feet of it for the duration. What is the duration?
10 minutes.
10 minutes? Okay. The creature can see invisible objects. A creature that can see invisible objects sees the sensor as an luminous orb about the size of your fist. Instead of targeting a creature, you can choose a location. Don't worry about that. Cool. So we are going to. What time of day would you like to cast this? Just like right now, middle of the day, noon, or would you prepare a special time to do it? Or any
I say you do it.
What does
specification
everyone think?
that you want to do.
What do y'all think? Think I should do it at like 3 in the
I feel
morning
like you
kind of
just
thing?
kind of.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, it seems like a kind of 3 in the morning kind of thing for Lucian to do.
Okay.
Since he doesn't sleep anyway.
He's just like, I should be.
Oh,
sleeping.
right. There is that whole.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to
You
sleep.
don't sleep.
He's bored. He's running out of Doritos.
All right. So.
The hell I am.
Yay!
So you cast this spell, and you see a grand room. So you can't share this vision with anyone else. Is that correct?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, it has a focus. Oh, okay. Well, there is a focus that you use. Crystal ball, silver mirror, font filled with holy water. So in theory, I guess I could project it on a silver mirror.
Yeah, we can do that.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it's there. Is everyone
Look at
watching?
the big screen.
Is everyone observing it? Or
I'm asleep.
yeah.
It's 3 a.m. I'm asleep.
all right.
I've probably woken up already.
All right, so those present can roll a nature roll if they would like to.
I'll roll nature.
All right. I mean, barbarians tend to not have, tends to not have garbage, but that's a 1.
Yeah, that's
There it goes.
and then-
19.
oh,
something
the
I'm
druid.
actually good at.
total of 3 for Lucian, and then a 19 for Denise, which is appropriate.
Denise is the MVP tonight. Just saying.
All right, so Crunk, that's
Fall
a
asleep
1.
waiting.
You don't see the scrying. You still just see yourself in the mirror. They're all just like, "Oh my gosh," and you're like, "What the?"
I punch it.
No, no.
Do you?
Well,
Mm-hmm.
Roll an attack, please.
No.
Just,
this is
I
called
mean,
being
I
hoisted
don't have
by
an
my
unarmed
lord.
one. Just strength plus proficiency, I guess.
Yep.
So
Oh, God.
5 plus, okay, so plus 4.
A
to that.
19.
Why is this so
So it's
At a
No,
it's really a
23.
23.
A 23, yes. I believe
Yeah.
the stationary mirror is hit by a 23. So, lightning round then. Denise, you can see
Okay.
that this structure is a big, grand courtyard. Like, it's this big, it looks kind of like a laboratory sort of thing. And the room looks like it's a room. However, it is not artificial. It, to you, like, you can't tell why, but it looks more primordial and natural than trees. It is a natural thing of this world that has existed for since the foundation of the world. This is naturally how the world was created, was with this room existing.
Huh.
Other important bits. You see, for the first time, essentially the mimic princess. Or
Oh.
however you want to refer to her. She is standing, a very tall lady standing, observing what she's working on, holding a little, like, tile in her hand. She currently has kind of a bright red hair and kind of a bronze skin, but as you know, she's like the Mimic King and capable of changing her appearance at a slight whim.
Sure.
The more shocking piece than anything else you're seeing in this thing is the thing she's working on, which appears to be a giant dragon made out of mimics. Every single individual piece is its own mimic. She's currently holding in her hand a scale and is, like, fitting it into the male of this giant amalgamation creature. Every single scale, bone, organ, claw, tooth is an individual mimic altogether.
Huh.
And then the image
So-
goes and smashed.
So it's like it's like a
Crunk! What are you
What
doing?
the hell?
What's happened?
do I hear that?
We were looking at the mimic.
Lucian, make a con save for me, actually.
Oh dear.
Oh God.
No, this is
Oh, no,
this
not
is a
bad,
good
those.
good thing.
Oh, okay.
Con saves are not good things.
A total of a 20.
20.
You hold concentration. The image is still in all of the shattered pieces of the mirror.
Oh,
It's just mixed up really weird now. But it's in all the shattered pieces of the mirror. You got a couple, like, big chunks still left on the frame, and a lot of, like, little bits and medium bits on the floor. Some of them are upside down, but, like, you have all the pieces. And they still have the image on them.
Good job, Lucian. So Lucian and I can see this?
Yeah.
Or just me? Okay.
You both can see it.
Well, hold
dragon?
this for a moment, and I guess he's gonna just grab pieces and place them. Oh, this is an interesting idea.
Interesting idea. Interesting idea.
he's going to take the pieces and like put them in a sphere so he gets like a full 360 view.
Huh.
Or if he takes a piece and moves it, does it move?
No.
like,
So sorry,
like
they
you see?
are
Oh, okay.
they are their same bit. It's like if you took a
Okay,
piece
cool.
out of a monitor or something, and for some reason it still worked. It's still that little chunk
Oh, cool.
right there.
Like a puzzle piece.
Yeah, like a puzzle.
Okay.
Piece.
Yeah.
But you,
In that case, it's like scrambling to put them in the right places.
yeah, there's a lot of like
The
little
rules for
flecks of
puzzles.
it that are hard to find. However, fortune is with you, and the mirror is a mimic, so it
Hey.
starts pulling
Hey.
itself back together, and eventually
Of course it's a
forms.
mimic.
Basically, you're gonna lose like a couple minutes of time off the spell. So now you get to actually take a look at the room, a better look, and what do you ask questions now? It's up to you to look for information.
So can I tell where this is now?
You can
But
tell
now I
for
know that it's
certain
not that shielded place.
You cannot confirm nor deny that. However, the interior of it looks nothing like what you would imagine a spire made out of mirrors to look like. The spire made out of mirrors
Okay.
would probably be made out of mirrors. This thing in here looks like it's natural stone. Like, it feels like sandstone and stuff, like the winds and the currents and whatever forces were around when the world was at its beginning naturally cut these rocks into shape. And so it's got kind of a sandstony sort of look. So it doesn't match in architecture, but who knows?
This
Fascinating.
seems... Maybe it's underground or in a mountain,
Too bad the dwarf is
You-
asleep.
Yeah.
right?
You can assume, not that, like, assumptions are bad, but it feels like the ample amount of light that's in this room feels like sunlight.
Oh.
Possibly, but also that's weird, considering the time of night you're doing it.
Well,
Where on earth are you? And how are you doing that? Now he's paying like extreme attention to the
how it's going
mimic
together.
making process that she's
Right.
doing.
Yeah. What do you want to roll to try and get, like, valuable
Wisdom?
information out of this?
Investigation?
Insight?
I would go for insight, but if you want to roll
Alright.
investigation, you can. Each one will give you a different kind of area of knowledge. Investigation might be more focused on the actual method.
One's a +5, one's a 0.
Let's do that.
And I'm going to use an advantage on this one.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Total of a 20 for Lucian on insight, and
10
Denise gets a
for
10.
investigation.
So, Denise, what you see is that she has gathered on the walls numerous tools for shaping. Like, most of them look a lot like clay sculpting tools and stuff for shaping clay and such. And she seems to take a piece, a thing she's interested in modifying, and forces it to become malleable, and then takes those tools and begins to shape and craft them. What you can glean from this is that mimics are malleable, and you can change their shape and make them change their shape. However, if they're given an original shape, they find it much easier to return to that shape.
Okay.
Lucian, you get more in a sort of different area. You can see that she is doing physical things with her hands. She is shaping them, but she's also talking to them. She's whispering in mimic, in a weird, like, sort of dialect that changes from each one to the next. A specialized variant of the language for every individual mimic. specially designed for each one that she's crafting. She is not too concerned with its physical shape, but more talking to it to encourage it and shape its thoughts. She's talking to it and developing and shaping its self, and then that will cascade down into what it actually looks like and acts like physically.
Fascinating.
You can tell that this is her passion, is making mimics and making them into bizarre, unthought of, and strange things. You can tell through this insight, you can tell that she has just a boundless curiosity and inventiveness and creativity, and is trying to make this thing not because, and you can tell this, that she's making this dragon thing not because she's like, I need to fight someone, but because she really wanted to make a dragon mimic thing. And
I like
it sounded really, really cool to her, and so she makes this.
Can I defect?
I
Yeah.
like her.
She sounds really
I
cool.
like her.
I would make no other kind of villain.
The best kind of villains.
Okay.
Or is she a villain?
That's
Is
the thing. Is, like,
right?
I didn't
We're
really think of
talking
her
about
as,
using the Mimic King for like a foci. Is the Mimic King with us at the moment?
The idea he would have given you just basically some stuff to, like some leftover materials or whatever to help you scry, but he wouldn't be with you.
Okay. Oh, I like her.
We might be able to
That's
just get her
really
on our side.
inventive. I like
I know.
I like that whole thing.
I'm going to
I'm not
use
even
that
there.
idea on the next set.
If you recall,
Which is-
she was created to shore up the Mimic King's lack of creativity. He was not very good at making things up, and so he created her for that express purpose.
What could we make that's unusual?
Well, she's already making a
Can't make
dragon.
a dragon. I already did that. We made
I mean,
older.
we should just keep scrying on her and then bringing her ideas to market before she does, thereby stunting her progress at every step.
That's a brilliant idea.
So
There's one of her and 4 of us.
what else?
5 with the king.
What do you want? What else are you
What does
trying to
Dragon
find
have?
out of this? Just ask questions and you'll get information. I've told you the
Does she smell nice?
you get sight and sound.
I can't. I'm not even. I can't see it. I'm nursing my 1 hit point I took off when I punched the mirror.
Oh,
Oh, it would have regenerated by now.
yeah, you would have.
I'm back. We're good. Ah,
I guess general demeanor.
Currently she's entirely focused on this. She has the capacity to modify her own mind. Like she can modify other mimics, she can modify her own mind, so she is capable of dedicating 100% of herself to the task she is on, and that's what she's doing.
What's her alignment?
So completely oblivious to being scryed on.
Currently.
Good.
How many hit points does she have?
These are the things that Wynn whispers to herself in her sleep.
Mozzarella.
What other kinds of things are in the room? Like
Yeah.
any other abandoned projects or raw materials or stuff like that?
No. Nothing else. It's tools. Like, tools, a wooden bench that is definitely not from here. Like, it's a wooden bench that she's brought in because this place didn't come with a bench. Sorry, not a bench, a desk where she's got her tools laid out. The big project she's working on, and that's it.
Okay.
And her.
Actually, Lucian wants to take a real hard at like the bones and muscles that are making up this mimic dragon. He just got an idea.
Oh. I thought you were gonna say the lady. You wanted to take a real good look at her bones and muscles. I was like, that's gonna.
Well, those are just constantly shifting. It's whatever.
What are you interested in learning?
How they work so that he can figure out how to replicate that.
As far as anatomy, it is a perfect. It is a perfect one-for-one replication of biology. To the point where it's kind of hard to tell that it's not. Except some stuff is not working the way it should. Some sections don't have the veins implemented yet, but the blood just flows along as if they were there. Because currently she hasn't put that piping in yet, but it's mimic as well, so it's just moving itself around.
That's so rad.
But like the muscles have the gleam of exposed flesh. The bones they look perfectly normal. For a dragon, I don't know if you've looked at the bones of a dragon before, but as far as you can guess, they look right.
No, just bones kept by a dragon. We had a lot of people injured during this past war. We could help them with new limbs with this kind of thing, without a magical requirement.
That's a thought. I wonder how many people are missing limbs.
You did just have a war, so yeah, a few people. Magical healing allows to kind of cut out the massive amount of people that would have died from just infections. But it doesn't regenerate limbs until higher level than most people are at.
And that most people are going to have access to, unless they're part of the Richie Riches.
Yeah. Right, that would make sense. And we killed most of the Richie Riches, so...
We can make like an arm emporium.
Interesting,
And
okay.
we won't even charge an arm and a leg.
No.
Okay.
We don't need to do that. We're rich.
So, is there anything else you want, or is this appropriate time for the spell to start running out?
I think it's probably about appropriate to run out.
Yeah, it's
I
about
can't
right
think
time.
of anything else.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I did enough. I say we, passed out in the next room.
All right.
All right,
What's
Lucian's
her
going to be
portfolio look like? What's
very...
has she had a lot of games this
I'll say that
year?
one.
Is she in the red?
Lucian is going to go and have a long chat with the Mimic King about limbs and different ways of
Appendages.
working with mimics and things like that. So that's his project for a while now.
To summarize that conversation is basically mimics have a range of how kind of awake they are. The more asleep they are, the less active they are, but the more they are like the thing they're pretending to be. Similar to Nox Axe, or the mimic gold that's been put around, because if you just have a regular mimic pretending to be a coin, if someone tests it by like biting on it or trying to melt it down into other things, it'll go very poorly because it's just going to hurt the mimic. But if it's super asleep, it will be nearly indistinguishable from the thing it's trying to pretend to be, so you can kind of find the middle point for that. All right.
Cool.
Well, you have the list of things that you're supposed to be dealing with at some point. You can choose to ignore those things if you want to, and you can definitely choose to make up new tasks to perform. So what do you want to do? I would suggest go to the least pressing and the least because nothing has a timetable on it. So just go to the least dangerous sounding thing, like go to the funeral or something like that. Like go most calm to most
What I
extreme
was
thing.
thinking is the funeral.
Yeah, we'll go to
Always
the
good.
funeral and then deal with the paper and.
You're turning into a robot.
Yeah. Robot Sama-chan.
Robo Sama-chan. Meet Morp.
Oh.
It's not working. I do think that we got the idea of what Win is trying to say, though. So we should go.
Let's go to the funeral.
Hey, there you're back.
I'm back.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Back in the New
Yeah.
York groove.
Maybe.
So yes, dwarves, things.
All right. So, yeah, you want to just go there and anything? Oh, I hate the internet sometimes.
So the door thing.
Should I disconnect and reconnect? I'm gonna disconnect and reconnect.
Okay.
Kid Niagara real quick.
Just give us one more minute because the dwarf thing will be fast, and then I think we'll do it right after that. Hopefully.
Love fast dwarf things.
We done it?
So time.
In the meantime,
Yes.
while we're waiting, I think I would like to go check out the garden in our castle, if that's where we're at.
Ooh, I would be in the garden.
She seems to be doing good. She's got a few mimics helping her trim away the parts of the plants that are bad, as she kind of has a kind of constant effect on the things around her.
Oh, sure.
But
She's just constantly kind of...
yeah, but that's being dealt with.
Hey, there you are.
Those plants are being pruned. However, one plant is notably not affected by this, and that is a little sprout that's about that tall, right where Krunk planted his plant. And it is...
Your seed is growing strong.
You know it.
It has... It's weird because it shows no identifying traits as far as what kind of plant it is. It started looking like it was a sprouting tree, but then kind of reshaped itself and now looks kind of like it's just duplicating a rose. It's just a rose with a bit more toughness to its stem. And Krunk, it smells like
Awesome.
well,
Spirit?
it smells like Scout.
Smells awesome.
Aww.
Oh. Scout from Team Fortress 2?
No.
Okay, good.
My scout.
Scout, well, not X.
And
No.
when you draw near,
This is my friend.
when you draw near, it like shakes a tiny bit and puffs out these golden sparkles at you.
Nice. Does it make me feel all warm and fuzzy?
Yes.
Same, Scout, same.
Every time I walk by. I'm down with it. Do I gain any superpowers from this?
No.
Suddenly, the sun makes you feel stronger.
I'm
Super
going to
Krunk.
pretend I do.
Super.
Every time it happens,
my.
I'm just gonna like flex really hard,
Yes.
and everyone thinks that I'm getting more
Weird flex,
powerful
but
every
okay.
time.
And your mimic clothing like kind of detaches from you a little bit, like widens out. A bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love it.
Denise, your mother greets
Yes.
you.
Amid crisis.
I'm literally just over there, just like patting the ground and just taking care of it, and I'm watering. Because I am proficient in gardening.
You are now.
You are.
I have literal and metaphorical green thumbs.
So as
Why
I
are you
see
so
some of the things that have been like poisoned, I'm just gonna like touch them
alert
and try
them?
to enact my healing anti-poisonness as much as I can.
Well, at this
wherever.
point, you just see there's like basically a very large garbage bin full of the little bits they've just pruned off. And so you just notice that this garden seems to have a lot more pruning going on than a normal
Than usual.
garden would need, especially one that's like
Okay.
magically fueled.
Gotcha. So,
Is this spreading?
I'm told it's contained here.
All right.
well, that's good.
Sort
How are
of.
you doing, Mom?
Fine. I hear you're doing something about the forest.
We're gonna head there soon. Yeah, I'm not sure what we're doing yet, but we'll figure it out when we get there.
All right. I've just been practicing.
Practicing, good.
Well, so for me, it comes out worse when I get angry or even when I'm just stressed out. And so remaining calm is a constant effort.
Oh. So did you learn the meditations? Or
Well-
do you know the Druid meditations?
Yes. I'm just not very good at them. I've always been one for action, and
Yeah.
instead of sitting down and asking what a tree needs, I just figure it out and go do it.
Yeah, you always were one to take us on adventures. Do you remember that one tree that was so big? Wait, I wonder if it's as big as I remember.
Well, it was a lot bigger to you when you were smaller, but
You helped me climb it.
it was quite
It was the best
wonderful
time.
because there were a lot of things living in that tree, and to see you as one of them was very, very nice for me.
Oh.
Aww. I love that tree. I should go find it again.
I'm sure it's
Do you-
fine.
Now?
They live for a long time. It's quite possible it's been around possibly even longer than me. So
That's true. I should go find it.
Could bring it here.
And I can't really take you with me though.
Bring the tree to
maybe-
her.
No.
How would we bring the tree to her?
No. I guess we could make like a
Pick
wagon.
it up and bring it over here.
Pick it up? How?
Magic?
We just watched a city get levitated. We can do a tree.
Can levitate a tree.
It's got a
Yeah,
lot
but
of
we don't
roots.
survive. But we could, if nothing else, we could have you, Lucian. You could stay here when I find it, and we could have you scribe me at the tree, and then she could at least see it
Perfect.
once I find it
that's very nice.
again.
Because
Would you like that, Mom?
yes, I'm tired of hurting the things that are bring the most pleasant memories. So I'd rather it not come here. And I'd rather not go outside.
Fair. Yeah.
It's best that I remain here.
Yeah. At least there's a nice garden here. You're doing a good job. I like what you've done so far.
Yes, the king has he's lent me some of these cat things to go off and fetch me seeds that I don't yet have.
My babies.
They're helping. They're
They
such
are
good little
wonderful.
kitty things.
Do they just like eat it, or do they like?
Well, they're mimics, so their
hold it in their
digestive
mouth?
system
They
is at least voluntary, I would say.
Okay, that makes
Fair.
sense. That still makes it entirely plausible if they just like eat the fruit and then like shit out an entire apple.
It's a terrifying
In front of
civet-shaped process. It's like that poop coffee. Ugh.
Yeah, yeah.
The enzymes process it.
It makes it more flavorful.
Bit nutty.
God, I wish this wasn't true.
These mimic cats don't actually eat things.
Thank
That's good to know.
goodness.
So
I know,
it
but-
literally just like eats something if it wants to, and then just regurgitates it out without like any gagging sounds or anything. Like literally, they're used as messengers.
it's just,
Sometimes
like-
they like swallow scrolls and stuff. Like,
And then like it just like
Yeah.
It like opens its whole mouth, its whole head.
they
Like one of those like the
Like its body.
We found you some
Well, it could.
seeds. Blah.
Well, there they are.
all right.
So
It-
it's good to see you, Mom. We're gonna go to a dwarf funeral now. I think
Oh, we didn't do that yet. Oh no.
There's
No.
some things
Kinda hope-
that
we detoured.
I'm glad that I'm forced to miss.
Yeah. Gotta go be like, I don't know, rulers or
Sad.
something.
Oh, that too.
Friends, in this case.
Just be sad.
Friends.
There'll be a feast. It'll be a sad feast, but it'll be a feast.
That's fair.
So
And dwarf wine is decent.
speaking of which,
Decent.
at the dwarven war funerals, they are taking they've already placed the dwarves in their sarcophagus. Sarcophagi?
Yeah.
Numbering, I believe it was 47 of them lined up out of the 500 that arrived at the battle. Many were injured, but
Yeah.
they were able to help those with magical healing.
At first I was like, oh, 47, that's not a lot. And then it was like, oh, well, I guess out of 500.
Almost
that's like-
10%.
Yeah, it's bad.
yeah.
Yikes.
Giant worms are not a joke, especially when you're underground
Yes,
and the
I
earth
learned
turns
that.
into sand.
Whoops.
Yeah, that was not good.
So it's
Not good.
not exactly dull because like the orator is not like quiet. He's yelling really loud and magically enhanced. He's using like a souped up version of thaumaturgy to have the entire hall hear him. But dwarves like their genealogies, and so every single one gets it read out all the way back to the god king that they are descended from. So it takes a while.
So we all dress appropriately.
It takes a good long while. Yes.
We would make sure that everyone dressed appropriately.
I mean, I'm sure Wynn's
Yes.
got that covered. Like,
Yeah,
like
I'm not good at sewing.
He
but
would have
I
Well,
can
messaged
make
ahead
to the
castle and
tailor
make
What I'm
some.
to have it made for everyone.
what I'm saying is that Wynn has probably packed away in the very bottom of your luggage. You have the like stuff from back at the convent that you can wear.
Oh, are you sure?
Well, that's
They
up to
didn't let me
you.
have pants.
That's entirely up to you.
No,
We can
I'd
get you
probably get
custom made.
something better made.
Right.
Like, I'm rich now. Forget that.
There you go.
Yeah, like I said,
don't know,
Lucian
it's
would have
my-
written ahead to their tailor to have
All right.
appropriate clothing made. They have
There
the
you go.
measurements on file.
What does Crunk end up looking like?
I would have dressed Crunk.
Yeah, I would not do it myself.
Don't worry. He's probably not as happy with the collar as I am, but
I feel like he's choking
live.
me.
it's only choking you a little.
You're fine.
Some people pay extra for that.
Yeah, Crunk, your fancy kind of like British general looking suit is kind of heavy. It's got these just enormous like buttons on it that are like gold, and it's just this like it's the heaviest thing you've ever worn in your life. It's just huge. It feels
What is
like a
the point of
straight jacket.
7 shirts on? I don't understand. I don't need this many shirts.
I know, but
I don't need this many clothes. It's pointless.
it's gonna be okay.
My
It's
my
just for
AC
one
has
day.
gone down because of this.
It has
Attached and
actually.
happy.
No one,
Yeah,
no one
technically.
is going to attack us, and if they do, you have my permission to rip your clothes. But only if we get attacked.
Roger that.
He's just going
No,
around like,
Crunk's
"Will you fight me?"
I'm just not like being an asshole to everyone. I'm like, what are you looking at?
No, Crunk, these are friends. No. Don't start fights. Not here.
The other bit is that because of dwarves' build and stature, they're bothered much less by standing for long periods of time than everyone else is. So the entire service is held standing in a giant stone hall. And they read off the genealogies of every single dwarf that died, and then also the notable ones that were injured, the notable dwarves that did exceptional feats during the battles, and it takes several hours.
Solution's gonna take a long rest.
Yeah, we can-
You don't have
And
to
he's
sleep.
really
He's what
glad
I
that he
did.
levitates so that he doesn't get leg cramps.
oh my god.
He's subtly floating.
Just like this much off the ground.
Exactly.
It's better than heel.
Like you wouldn't notice.
Unless you know him very well.
Is there anything
Right.
important that you want to do here, or other than just showing up? That was the important bit, was you showed up.
I would probably take the time to go up to at least a few of the families and like say some like nice words, you know, like I appreciate you and blah blah blah. But separately from them, like I would let them go and like wander off. This is more like, I feel like it's my duty to.
Oh yeah, Denise is definitely gonna wander.
Win. Would it be fair, considering your track record as far as like charismatically talking to people, would it be fair to require me to, or for me to require you to make some kind of charisma roll on that, on telling people that
What do you? Wait.
you're
what do
sorry
you
for their
mean?
loss?
Where's your
saying
charisma?
I'm
Just
awful?
press F. Just press F. You'll be good.
All right. No, I'm down. Okay. There you go. 14.
Oh, okay, yeah, you just roll charisma.
Suck it.
That's good. You
Has
just
to be
walk up, say hello, thank you.
I'm somewhat comfortable in this like
Yes,
position.
you are more
like,
comfortable
I know the rituals.
in this scenario than
I'm getting
any
used
other.
to
Yeah,
being famous. You know.
that is a bit weird. All right. So
I love all of
one
you,
more
chat.
thing before we go is okay, there we go. Fan hadn't done it yet. So okay, now we can move on.
I just looked over. I'm like, oh, they're paying respects. Shit.
All Okay, we can move on now, if we want, or we can take a break now.
Now that that's over with.
We want to take a break now, or do it later?
This is a good break time, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So give me just a minute. We'll transition over, and we'll be back in a little bit. So see you in a little bit. And we are back. Hello, everybody.
Oh, wow.
Last we left the party, they were at a dwarven funeral. And they're watching now as it's concluded, and the dwarves that were going to be buried are in their sarcophaguses already, and those sarcophagi are being loaded into the deep tombs below the dwarven halls. So that's what's going on, and I hear that the Mimic Knights might be doing some more
Politicking.
Politicking.
Hopefully not politicking.
You
through
have
the law.
all of the time in the world, so I would suggest maybe bringing an elf of some sort, maybe that same ambassador you had before, be present for the situation, but it's up to you.
We totally would have brought him along for the funeral. Yeah.
That actually makes
Yeah,
a lot
we
of
definitely
sense.
thought of this ahead of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works. The elf was very good. Denise, please roll insight.
Bless you.
Yeah, when
Yeah,
when,
bless
when
you.
you're when you're
Yeah,
done
When you're done
sneezing.
Need a minute. I understand.
Thank you very much for muting your mic. Very
Yeah.
professional.
Denise's
Yeah, very
face
good.
has exploded. Oh no.
If you could roll
Just nasally. It's all good.
insight, that would be very nice.
Insight for my elf friend.
Yes.
That's a 6.
6. All right. He appeared to you to be very attentive and respectful to the dwarves during their time of grieving,
Oh dear.
and was totally not in a trance.
Shh.
Also taking
Neither
a lot of
Definitely
naps.
awake the
nor
whole
Lucian
time.
were transient.
Well, the fact that I knew that tells me that I probably paid more attention than I thought I did. Or maybe that was my problem. Maybe I was in a trance as well because
You're a half elf. You don't
Crap,
get to
was
do
that
that, do
boring?
you? Or do you? Do you get that?
Like,
I don't
Not-
think half
I
elves
don't think
do.
half
not
elves.
like
like that.
trancey trance, but I can kind of
That's fine. Yeah. Yeah.
meditate.
Not quite house
Whatever.
trance, a little bit like Too Happy
Yeah.
Heart.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't do that at a funeral.
Crunk and Denise are in the back going,
Glow
We're
stick.
like, "Guys."
Oh! Prestidigitation. Okay. All things none of us did.
The
No, not
yeah,
at
this
all.
is all in our
Not
heads.
okay.
initiation of any conversation that's going to happen is up to you. To note, all of the
so to
kings
the-
and queens are present.
Mhm.
Well, once I've finished
Keep
my
Crunk-
rounds of, you know, there's a word for it, I'm sure.
Just
When
general.
you go around to people and offer condolences.
There you
That's
go.
what I was thinking
That's
of.
the word.
Okay.
I'm
There's
somewhere
my
off in a
SAT
corner,
word
just
for
like
today.
trying to pull his jacket.
Crunk, you're there with Blackshire, the Dragonborn.
Oh, okay.
He's in the back also.
Keeping an eye on you
Being super uncomfortable.
Yeah, he's
and very
it's like,
tall.
I'm not
I barely fit in this
I'm
place.
not racist, but I never really liked dwarves very much. They take forever to do everything.
So you know when you say you're not really something and then be that something, you really are that something. You know that, right?
Yeah, well, I've done a lot worse things in my life.
Like
That's not comforting.
slavery of our friend. But whatever. it's
Yeah,
cool.
he's right. He's done terrible things.
I feel like there's way better ways we could have gone through all of this. Skipped over this whole conversation.
I think that might apply to something like the entire campaign.
What?
Yeah, half the conversations we've had, we could have just.
I have loved this
Okay.
campaign so much. However, well, no, that's why
We're
this is such a
terrible
great
human beings.
campaign.
we
I
get
You're
love it.
terrible, and we know it.
But yeah,
So
Okay. Anyway, so I feel like after I finish going around to like talk to all the different people the different families and being like, thank you so much, you know, I really appreciate you, and so is, you know, so brave and blah blah blah.
Unfortunately, being a dwarf,
would
you're really good at remembering names.
Yeah,
That's a big
fortunately.
deal for them.
Lucian would probably be following Wynn's lead on.
Okay. That's fine, yeah. I appreciate that. And then once we finish like going to all 47
Correct.
of the families, I would like turn to Lucian, I'd be like, okay, we have to round the others up.
Is there a chandelier?
Let's herd some cats.
Okay, so this is a similar dwarven hall to what you had been in before. So the ceiling is about 100 feet above you.
Yeah.
However,
no.
yes.
Hey, Crunk.
We find Denise just standing in the middle of the hall, like
Crunk.
staring intently at the ceiling.
Crunk, do you think you could throw me up there?
Yep.
Can you throw how much do you weigh, Denise?
That's
I don't
rude.
know, like 150?
Okay, can you throw 150 pounds 100 feet in the air?
That is a bit Superman.
That's really far.
Yeah. However,
Like
Yeah.
maybe. Hold
I mean,
on.
I could jump as well.
that would help.
I mean, if you
Try this, I will disown you.
um,
That's fine. I just want to swing from the
that's
chandelier.
fine. I'm just do it anyway.
You're not my real dad.
Can we wait until there
Are
are
we, like-
not-
Wait, so we're all
You're not
together?
with
It's
me.
not just me. That's just me and Denise together, right?
Yeah,
Currently.
it's just the two of us.
So no
Oh,
one's around. Like,
sure is.
anybody around?
Lots of dwarves all over the
Yes.
place. Denise,
grieving families?
Denise, there are what are those candelabras that come out of the wall?
Sconce.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
are several
sconces.
of those lined up the wall, as well as very large tapestries that hang all the way from the ceiling on the walls.
So you're saying I could climb?
Yes. I never said you should. No.
If you do
Hmm.
and you fall, I will catch you. I'm not saying you should do it. If you do, I
Lucian,
will catch you.
Lucian, we should go.
Why? What's going? Oh dear God! What are they doing?
Yeah,
Like,
you just
Where's Crunk and Denise? And you're like, where's Crunk? You're like, where are the
I'm
kids? I
climbing.
can't find the
We left
kids.
the toddlers.
That's a 21 for
toddlers.
acrobatics.
Oh no! Oh, that's a.
That's a nat 20 for
all
acrobatics.
right. Do you want to roll stealth?
Oh, sure.
No, that's
I'm probably
entirely
gonna-
optional. Do you want to?
Yeah, but that's only a
It's
14.
a 14 in a very large, open,
I wanna-
well-lit
can I-
hall.
Can I be like helping her though? Like, so can she get advantage? Because I'm like around and I'm like trying to distract people.
I mean,
She have advantage.
you do the exact opposite. Like, people eyes are drawn over to her area because you're around. Like, because you're big. Like, think about it. Everyone else is at your waist. It is super easy to spot you.
God.
But maybe I'm just blocking the view and they can't
Okay,
see behind me because I'm so large.
If I cast
helping.
thaumaturgy and cause a distraction,
Are you
like
really
maybe
gonna-
I like go up on the stage and I like start just giving a speech very loud.
That will require a roll on charisma in some. Would it be
Charisma.
persuasion? You know what? This feels like the perfect situation for a charisma saving throw.
Performance.
Or performance. Either one you want.
You know what?
It's the
Lucian would
same
like to help
modifier.
with this.
How are you
Lucian
helping?
wants to- I
'Cause
do
you can give
have
advantage
I have
if
3
you-
advantages.
Give a legitimate way that you're helping.
So one of the things that he would want to do is, let's see, with his glorious deception skills, is first vamp as he comes up with a really good explanation. Second would be to
I could just use one of my advantages. They did give me one at the beginning. I'd
This is what you spend
Now-
it on,
now
better
is
be happy
not
that they
being
did.
disowned by your entire species.
That sounds pretty
That
great.
sounds pretty good. It's up to you.
No. I can. Okay. Do you want to use it, or I can actually help you?
It's fine. It's fine. I've got two
Okay.
more.
All right,
I
roll
will live.
performance at advantage, please.
Okay, hold on. Let me touch the button. Shut up.
Push the button.
17.
That advantage really helped because the other was a 2.
Yeah, because I was. Okay, so
Oh, that was a nat 1 as well. So thank goodness you had advantage. That would have been
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh yeah, that would have been really bad.
okay, so I'm over here
So
like,
a 17, Denise. You can
and I'm
roll
kind of like
advantage
motioning
again,
to Lucian, like,
as if you had advantage on that previous roll. And people are just generally more distracted, so it's bringing the DC down as well. So yeah, Wynn, describe what are you doing exactly?
okay, so I'm. So I guess I start basically from the beginning, where I like go around the room and I just sort of like start talking about each of the families and like expressing my gratitude for everything that they have sacrificed for our cause, and you know, that sort of thing where it's like, and I'm just like, please pay attention to me. I'm important and I'm honoring you. Like, I don't know
Also,
what else to say.
So Metagames has given 500 bits to give Wynn their advantage
God,
back.
thank you.
Thank you very much. That was wonderful. So Denise, you can roll that stealth again. Basically, you had advantage on that roll you did before. Retroactively, you have advantage. So let's see.
Also a nat 20.
That's the nat 20. Very nice. So
When it matters, I can't roll for beans.
Good. This matters so much.
So
Oh,
you
God.
just Assassin's Creed your way up, just grabbing onto the sconces, go up, then leap on and just climb like a cat across the tapestry, and then
Oh yeah.
swing across the hanging chain lights until you get onto the grand chandelier that is literally 30 feet radius. It's this enormous platform that requires some moving around because there's like very few flat spaces to stand, but it's just this enormous grand thing, and there are no candles in it. Instead, there are just these diamonds that glow.
Crunk is
producing
like moving
lights.
through the room to stay like right below where she's at the whole time.
She kind of catches you off guard. It's just like, oh, wow.
Yeah, I didn't expect that. Like a
Lucian's just looking like,
Ooh.
oh, we're going to die. This is awful. This is the worst.
You don't
thing.
have, like,
Oh,
Are these-
God, Denise,
No,
why?
something.
Now that Denise is up there, no one's looking up there, and if they did, they'd probably be blinded by the lights in the chandelier, not spot Denise.
Okay. So
So Crunk
I guess
can't be
I'll
used.
wrap up my.
That's also
speech
true.
then.
Crunk knows you're in somewhere inside of that 30-foot radius chandelier space. It's a
Gotcha.
pretty big area.
So is there like a glass
big ass
dome underneath,
No.
or is it like you can see the little diamond things?
There's this enormous metal framework that holds everything together, but there's no like dome. It's all these hanging, glowing metal pieces off this metal framework.
We weren't really anticipating anyone standing on it,
No. But they generally build everything very sturdy.
especially not a
Thank
large person.
goodness.
Not large.
I felt.
Stop.
How tall am I? Let's see.
Don't give him an idea.
I'm what, 4'2"? Okay.
No, I can say for sure the dwarves build their stuff very sturdy. Crunk could probably swing on this thing and it would stay in the ceiling.
No. No.
it looks really fun.
Crunk, no. Like, absolutely no. No. I can't believe Denise did that.
If I had
my
a
God,
sage hand or something,
This
I
is
would have like
amazing.
slapped her off
I-
of the wall or something. But
Right.
fortunately,
I mean, you wouldn't ever want to
I'm gonna
waste
be
your
quiet.
advantage on that, right?
What?
Crunk would never want to waste his
Oh.
advantage on that.
Mm-mm, no,
Okay,
not after the last time I tried to climb. It didn't work. I don't trust it.
so what's happening next? Because this scene is definitely in you guys' hands.
I don't know. This is really cool. I'm able to
Lucian
see
needs
everything in this whole room, and I don't really want to come down. This is totally awesome.
all right,
Uh,
Lucian, Crunk, come on, let's go. We're
But
just
see,
gonna leave her.
Right. We need to do
just gonna-
introductions.
Go. We're gonna go to the. I guess we have to. Can we get the kings and queens out of this room?
Yes, you can gather them in a private area too.
Okay, we're
Steve.
gonna do that.
You bring the
and we're gonna leave.
full
leave
elf
Denise to-
ambassador with you.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, I see
Crunk,
the elf moving.
You can come if you want, but you don't have to.
I will be the last to come.
Hmm.
Okay.
I see the elf
That is
moving
true.
though,
Yes.
and I realize that I should probably stay with the elf. So I'll come down now, I guess, if I have to.
How you doing that?
You don't have to.
Same way I came
So
up
wait
here.
till everyone. I can't say anything. to her.
So, Win, Lucian, the ambassador, and the kings and queens exit the room, and attention is no longer drawn towards the stage. And Denise is like, hopefully before attention is entirely taken away from the stage, can get down. But I'm gonna say that I'm going to say
Fucked.
that your crits, because you got crits on both of the things to both climb and stealth, are going to continue to carry over because they are crits.
Woohoo!
However, it is inevitable at this point that someone will see you come down from there. Just as your feet touch the ground, a dwarf lady is just like, "Oh,
Where the hell did you come from?
Hi.
what were you doing?"
Nothing. I gotta go to a meeting now. Bye. And I'm gonna turn and walk to the kings and queens and wherever I saw them go.
All right. And so, Crunk, do you enter the room or not?
That went.
Yeah,
that worked
I
out
with
way better
Denise.
than
Once
thought.
I was only staying behind to help with Denise, but she's
Right.
good. That's what we go.
All right. The meeting commences. The dwarven kings and queens take their seats and are ready to listen to whatever you have to say.
I'm gonna turn the floor over to Lucian now because I've had a lot of public speaking today and I've not liked it.
Aww.
Right. Honored royalty, it's a pleasure to meet with you once again. I wish it could be under more kind circumstances this time than it was last time.
That's all right. We are still behind you.
That is really appreciated. I would like to introduce an ambassador for the elves. Did we ever get a name for them?
Did I don't remember what it was though.
Let's see.
the
Not
ca-
Stacy.
You all insisted
That's
that this
someone
character had a
else.
name. I was like,
Eamon.
he's
It
the
wasn't
ambassador.
Barbara.
His name's Eamon.
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 E-M-A-N. Eamon.
E-man.
You're
Eamon.
sure it's not Iman?
Probably. That sounds more like the way I would pronounce it, but I don't care.
More
Even-
over.
All right, Iman. Yes, this is Iman of the elves.
We noted your presence, and we appreciate it.
Shogun, you have to have a conversation with yourself.
Nope,
now.
I refuse.
Fair. They exchange pleasantries.
Yes.
Got it.
They exchange pleasantries and agree to help us with whatever we want. Cool.
Perfect.
Awesome.
All right.
One of the things that we wished to discuss with you after this war was, I'm sure you are aware of the corruption infesting the old forests.
We've heard of it, but not in much detail. What is the situation exactly?
Iman will be able to give a fully detailed.
Rip.
Ah!
What are the details? Nope.
Never mind.
And Ninja vanished.
You blew our minds. That's what it was. Like, whoa! Those details.
So good. Blow your mind. So everyone caught those, right? Yeah. Cool. Great.
Yeah, I heard every
It was
bit of
just
it.
so good. It just blew it straight out of your minds. Awesome.
Hey,
Love it.
You're,
All
I've
right.
got,
So Nat
you're on
20
me.
got that. We're good.
I'm just
Moving
gonna
on.
hang out here silently till you want to continue the scene.
Fair. Okay. So, yes, as Iman can go into great detail, I'm sure, to give the general idea, this corruption is being driven by shards of the demonic plane and further corruption by the Ithalids.
What is it that you require of us?
One of the things that we were looking to have is further support in helping to take back the forests and cleanse the corruption there. Something that we have discovered in many places now, under the ground, with different tribes and many places, is this Ithalid coalition. And we have seen them as this dangerous force that, if not combated, threaten the whole of the world.
Though you are our kin now, you are leaders of a foreign nation. An ally, no doubt, but still a foreign nation, and we must carefully consider actions done outside of our borders.
Of course.
What is the method that will be used to fight this corruption? Because I am certain that our proposals would not be accepted. So...
Yes, burning down the forest would go rather poorly.
So what...
Just kind of like looking at and I'm just like, whoa.
Yeah, he's like, no.
No. We have something that the Ithalids were not expecting. Denise. What Denise has is the ability to cure this corruption. What we would like to do is find ways to exploit that further.
We are interested in helping. But how exactly do we help? Do you merely need troops? Or is this a more magical effort?
Could be both. It's a it's definitely something that's going to require many different kinds of approaches. There's the Denise approach, where we use her abilities to cure large swaths. We'll need to be able to hold large areas in order to enact those changes. And it's even entirely possible that we'll be able to replicate what she does so that it could be used by mages or even machines, perhaps.
All right. We need information then. That is crucial. And so, at this point of the conversation, Iman relays all the information that's relevant to the situation, as well as some new information that the Mimic Knights are not aware of. They've been doing conversing and some expeditions into the deep wood to gather information and make contact with the ancient fae that live there, and have been gathering information and figuring out more about it, more about the corruption. And one of the things that they've learned is that there is a core to it. There's a center. The Ithalids are believed to have arrived and aided the local demonic force in kind of consolidating the shards of their plane into a single object that emanates the corruption outward. So, theoretically, if Denise is the cure to that, getting Denise to that thing could end it.
I'm gonna kind of whisper in Mimic. That makes it seem a lot easier, where we may not even need anyone's help if it's just the four of us go on an expedition.
Well,
Wreck some shit.
it is most certainly at the center and the most dangerous part of the corruption, the place where, let me put it this way. Once you get to the central area of the corruption, your ability to fight no longer matters, and it is your self that fights the corruption. However,
gotcha.
that space
You
just
gotta get there
outside that area is going to be their strongest military space, and you're going to need to fight through that in some way or another.
Okay. I see.
I am the package to be delivered.
So we're
Rush
gonna
me.
need like
She's our MacGuffin.
an armed guard, I guess.
Guard.
Like,
After
I can
hearing all of this, one of the dwarven queens says, if this corruption works the way that the elf says it does, then perhaps our clerics could be of help. If it can be pushed back with positive thought, our clerics can push their will and the will of our gods forth, and maybe open a path.
Excellent. And with the assistance of the Fae, that could be even easier.
As long as they coordinate. Is that the conclusion of the meeting? Is there anything else that wants to be planned? Because the dwarves are like, okay, we'll help. And what we're going to contribute is clerics. It's clerics who are going to show up and try and cut through the corruption itself so that Denise can get there.
Your mages. Something that we're definitely going to need, and the clerics will need, is ways to protect their minds from the Ithalids. They are insidious with their ability to reach in and do damage. So ways to prevent that.
Amon
will be
actually says
key.
that, according to reports, the Ithalids have evacuated, leaving the demonic forces on their own. The corrupted forces are there and strong, but the Ithalids, as far as reports go, are no longer in the Deepwood and have moved somewhere else.
Of course.
Yeah.
Somewhere else that you may or may not know about.
Oh yeah.
Sigh.
Mm. Mm.
And may or may not have to do with recent events.
Oh.
Don't we need Darkshade
Crap.
to help us find that place? Isn't that why we were sort of going?
Yeah, that's one of those things.
It's one of the things, yep.
reasons we got.
It's just one of those things.
But at least that side is covered. The mages will still go, although dwarves don't have a ton of mages. They mostly have clerics. They have a lot of clerics.
Perfect. No, that's ideal.
Yeah, clerics and paladins, who are great at reinforcing the minds of their allies. So they will be going as well.
We could even... Yes, that would be perfect. We just have a quick strike directly into the center of their area, and we can... And we might even be able to do this quickly, even.
So our effort is in cutting through their forces and creating a beachhead. How will the elves and the fae help us? What is their part?
I think one of the best things that they could do if you're creating that breach is they act as scouts. They are in waves outward, moving forward, and they can direct the breaching party.
Oh my gosh.
Can
I love that he
direct
left
the
on breaching
party to maneuver around opposition.
All right. And fast forward to a week later, as everyone is
Everything's on fire.
standing just on the edge of the
we're
Deepwood.
fast forwarding right to it.
Ooh.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, we're doing
do
this
it, huh?
right now.
All right. Guess we're doing it now.
We're doing it live.
So you're in the forest. You're in the woods.
I
Yes.
do have one thing I wanted to do in that meantime.
Yes.
Because there's that giant chunk of demonic stuff. After they get back and are like planning at the castle, privately, Lucian wants to do a scrying.
All right. On what?
And he wants to scry for his mom.
Okay.
He's curious.
Let's put those
No,
rules
his
up
ability
again
to
so I
figure it
can
out.
read them, because this is an interesting scenario as well of a person you should be intimately familiar with, however, have not seen in a long time.
Do you have anything?
Eh,
I mean, like
Hi.
a necklace or something.
genetics.
Is that
His
good
whole
enough?
body.
I'll say it's good enough.
Okay, so that's -10.
However, you have not seen her in
-4,
forever,
-5.
so that's gonna modify things. But we're gonna roll. Also, it's a demon,
Just go
so
for it.
we'll see how that goes. Let me do math. You know what? She actually fails. I rolled garbage again. So you get to
Nice.
spot your mother.
Wait. What?
She fails the save against your scrying. You get to spot your mother.
She's alive?
Yes.
I feel like we knew. Did we know?
Nope, didn't know. Didn't actually know.
Did we kind of assume? I
hoped.
assumed.
Hoped. But okay.
Okay.
What?
You call out Mama.
Well, it wouldn't work.
What are you viewing this
There's
on?
no communication.
I don't care. I just want you to be
I
like,
guess he would set up
"Mama."
another mirror in his room.
Yeah. So before we even describe the scene of what you see through
Mother.
that mirror, describe to me Lucian.
Lucian?
Yeah. Not looks, attitude. Like, you just see your mother is physically there and alive.
First he's in shock. Just utterly in shock. And then he's really angry.
Mm.
And then relieved. And then really, really intent.
So the
Like,
the
oh, I was just gonna be like, intent, like you're want to find her or
Like,
trying to
just
find
super.
every detail.
Exactly. It's just, what the hell?
So you see your mother, currently, although you're fairly certain due to studies that you've conducted, since this demons are a area of interest for you, I imagine, when you had access to libraries and such. So, she's probably able to, kind of being a powerful demon, she's capable of projecting herself physically however she wants to, especially the type of demon that she is. But she's currently a red-skinned, large wings that are opened up and resting on her throne that she is sitting on. They make up the wall, are her wings. They, like, for a second, like, you don't realize that those are part of her and not just enormously extravagant ornaments on the wall, and they're actually a part of her. She is currently, like, thumbing around this thing in her hand that you realize is the soul of some creature or another. You see numerous lesser demons and beings that are not demons at all, and beings that are half demons around her, waiting on her and serving her, and you hear the mumbling, but you're focused on her, not whatever random dude is reporting to her. You do see standing next to her as a bodyguard with chains around his neck, or a collar around his neck of iron that is connected to chains that don't, like, latch onto his arms or anything. They just latch around his chest. Like, you see runes on them that it's, the fact that it is clasped onto him is what it's for, rather than, like, restraining his physical movements. And this is a demon that looks familiar. It's a demon that you've killed in the past.
I know you.
He is in her service now. Which makes sense, because everything, according to demon hierarchy, everything that you own is hers. And so you gave up that spirit, and she instantly took it. And so she is there. You also see aligned along the walls are these souls of thousands of people. These just little motes of light that she has collected along her walls that she'll use as she wishes at some later date. You don't know how, because it's just a mote of light, but you know you see your father up on that wall. It's just a mote of light, and there's no way to, like, physically recognize.
Yeah.
He was dead before you were born, but
just knows.
You know. Does this scrying give you any indication to, like, their distance from you or anything? No.
Let's see.
No, it doesn't. Not that I can see. So you don't know where this is. You can take some guesses. but this is some like lava rock constructed cavern, like very fancy, but it appears to be made out of lava at one point. Some parts of it are just the black sort of pumice stone, and other parts are smooth obsidian as needed to construct this place. It looks like it would be really rough to walk barefoot, which most of the slaves around her are. But yeah, that's what you see. And then you notice a imp that is hanging around on her throne, screeches and points at you. And then the mirror shatters.
Oh, it shatters before anything else happens?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because they don't know who's doing it. They just know someone's spying on the boss. And counter it.
Fair.
All right. Are we ready now to go storm the forest?
Yeah, because he's going to be processing that one quietly for a while.
All right.
Oh, and sending out as many scouts as possible to find that place.
How far are you going?
Yes.
Okay. Do you speak to Blackshire at all about it? Since he has experience with spaces outside this valley that the entire campaign has transpired in.
You know what? He actually would.
How about we do that after this battle?
Yeah.
All right. Lined up are a bunch of dwarven clerics, and guarding them are a bunch of dwarven paladins. Set up around them, meeting you, are a bunch of elves and a large amount of fey spirits and plant folk. And they're ready to begin the push. And
Scout here?
Scout is here and says hello.
Hello.
Ready to rumble.
Scout begins to do Scout's job and scout around, as well as Scout's other job, which is to emanate good feelings to fight the corruption, and tends to hang around near Crunk. So Crunk's feeling pretty great. You if you want, you can roll will saves to fight happiness that emanates out of Scout, but
Lucian?
How dare!
No, specifically, she's hanging around Crunk.
Okay.
23.
No, I
She's
love
just
feeling
like,
happy.
no feelings. None.
Man. I felt happy once. It was awful.
Lucian is playing the part of Grumpy Cat this evening.
So who is leading the charge? I would suggest the resident cleric. But that's up to...
Me?
Well, yeah, because the people that
Yes,
are
you.
leading the charge are
guess.
dwarven clerics
Okay.
and paladins. So, I mean, you can have someone else do it.
Are we gonna hold hands and?
No, they're
So,
I guess I could.
they're all
go
gripping their holy symbols,
first.
and you
I
see an
think I'm
aura
good.
of golden light begin to kind of envelop the area where the dwarves are at.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Are there any like good spells for this? I wasn't ready. I didn't know we were gonna do this, or I would have like shuffled my spells and stuff.
You can, if
Like, I mean, if there's like a
you have a week to prepare
anyone
in
can
the
think
world,
of
so you can have some time to
specific.
prepare while others say what their plan is, how they're going to fit themselves into this assault.
would we be able to have gotten one dragon breath potion from our resident?
I have one of those.
Yeah, no, you have notably
You drank it already.
not been. Yeah, you
Oh,
drank
did
it
I?
before. You have not seen Steve in this entire time.
Fuck
Damn it.
Steve.
All right.
Like,
I was gonna get it to
you
Denise.
used to see him a lot, but he is not, like, very much not around.
Hmm.
Hit points.
That's
Do
too
we
bad.
feel like he's
Is he
ghosting
like-
us?
Do you want to
Is he leaving us
roll
on read?
insight?
Yes.
Such a jerk.
It would be a disadvantage because he's not here.
Fair.
A 13 for Crunk.
Oh.
7 for Lucian.
Oh.
And anyone else who wants to can, but you're not obligated to.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Crunk would get the feeling, and this is complex thoughts, but would get the feeling that he is not that he's not around because of things you've done, but not exactly because he's like staying away from you because he doesn't like you anymore. Like, a thing you did has forced him to now go do something that's very important. So he is off doing that thing that's very important, and yes, you caused it, but he's not necessarily like mad at you. He's off doing a thing. So
Oh gosh.
That's gonna-
Okay.
just
Me or us?
this.
Thanks,
As a
Crunk.
group or Crunk?
the group.
Okay.
So yeah, just
Hashtag thanks,
just
Crunk.
so that you have one more thing to worry about.
Because 5 wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Let's throw some more on the fire. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we can go ahead. Sorry, I found a good spell. It's called Bit of Hope,
Ooh, what's this?
but I'm gonna use it later.
Okay.
So basically, it bestows hope and vitality. So for the duration of the spell, every target has advantage on wisdom saving throws, death saving throws, and regains the maximum number of hit points from every population.
Dude.
Oh.
That's very good.
Yeah.
How long does that
I'm
last?
gonna wait. I'm gonna hold on to that until we get to like maybe a little more shifty area.
So
But, yeah.
we're gonna change the rules on spells you cast a little bit, because what's gonna go on is that the clerics that you're working with are gonna work with you and channel whatever spell you cast into the aura that they are emanating. So I'm gonna change things a little bit. They're not,
You want me to?
but hang on to that and do what you're planning on doing whenever you're planning on doing it. But things are gonna be a little bit different. So be aware of that. So it's up to you to commence the charge whenever you want to, unless there's any more specifications or anything the party wants to do. I assume Crunk's just on standby
So
to
the elf.
act.
Just
when-
ready to smash.
Yeah.
Smash.
Tell me what to smash and I smash it.
So basically, Crunk, Scout is hanging around you, allowing you to exit the area. Have you ever played the Crystal Chronicles Final Fantasies where you have to have the chalice? No?
Negative.
Okay, so basically it's that there's this darkness out in the wilds, and you have this chalice that emanates an aura that within it you're safe, but if you exit you take damage.
Played a lot of
Yeah.
So
do that, though.
essentially,
Mass Effect.
There's plenty of games that have
so the
Mhm.
clerics are
The
emanating.
Witcher does that.
The clerics are emanating this area of safety from the corruption. Scout is allowing you to exit that. So if you see something really dangerous approaching the army that is pushing forward, you can go and intercept and fight that thing.
All right, cool.
How many people is it?
Scout's so
Do you know?
All right, so the only thing that
20?
Lucian would add in there is send one wave of scouts out,
Mhm.
then a second wave of scouts, then the main group.
'Kay.
Would be
So the
Going.
Fey Scouts are like, yeah, we're gonna go do this thing, but you need to complete this mission. Because a good portion of us are gonna get corrupted and we're gonna be turned to the other side. And we're gonna be stuck with them if you don't fix, the corruption. So please don't let us be bad guys and be stuck with the corruption.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the idea would be to like cycle them through so they can get into the happy circle.
No plan
And,
ever
like-
goes off flawlessly, especially when you're working with
Yeah.
over 1,000 people at this point. So some of them are going to be lost, and they don't want to stay that way. So Just
No, we got this.
all right. And
We can
the
handle
army
this.
begins to move forward. Win, can you please roll me, essentially a wisdom save?
Me.
Yes, please. You're gonna kind of be pushing forward, being the vanguard, breaking force that's cutting through the corruption, with the paladins and clerics.
Oh wait, you said a saving throw.
Yes, saving throw, please.
Oh, whoops, and I'm also on advantage, so my bad. Okay, hold on.
And Denise, I assume, is a little bit behind. Your first roll was a 21. But you weren't.
No,
That wasn't a save. Okay,
that's
sorry.
the wrong button.
Yeah, roll.
Yeah.
A 25 will
Even
do.
better.
This is way better.
So Denise is not on the very front lines, but you're
Yeah.
close, so that once you guys get close enough, you can.
I'm
sprint
like
to
behind the
front.
clerics.
Yeah.
Because there's the paladins and the clerics, and then I'll be just behind that.
This aura that has been pushing forward, once you really start cutting into it, you would think it would start to shrink and kind of bring back, but Wynn kind of pushes forward and leads the charge, taking one step forward, and the rest of the clerics, they were planning on going a little bit slower, but they have to keep pace with you and stay with you, not break formation, and this valor and bravery helps reinforce them, and this aura begins to just cut through the corruption and begin to push forward and cut through and shove things around. The lesser corrupted creatures flee away from you and don't even engage in combat with the paladins. One creature begins to move forward. Krunk, you see something that looks a lot like, at one point it was a giant like tree person thing, but at this point it looks like an ogre or something. There's just matted, rotting leaves and vines and mold
Corrupted
and
trees.
moss just piled on. It's this big hunchback monstrosity is charging to like break the flank
Hunchback.
of them, and you charge out to go get it. Why don't you roll an attack on this thing?
I'm raging.
Yeah, you're raging for sure.
Okay.
This rage
I have advantage, right?
feels if you're doing reckless,
Yeah.
this rage feels weird because you have Scout with you, and she turns your anger into a positive emotion. It's a sort of paladin's smiting of being angry
Zeal.
zeal, being angry at evil, so that you can strike down evil to help people. It's this positive anger, as much as that for the most part doesn't make much sense for a lot of people.
No, it does, and that's terrifying.
And that's
Righteous
a
21.
rage.
21. Roll damage, please. 18. That's very
I'm gonna do
good.
another. I do another D6 too.
Oh, well, why don't you roll that?
Right? Don't I? Yeah, sure. Why not?
Why?
Sure. All the damage.
This is a bit more narrative stuff. The actual
Yeah.
combat is a little more towards the end, but I want to reinforce the
No, I
fact that
don't.
a
That's fine.
giant creature is about to plow into the side of the army that's pushing forward, and Krunk just like runs out and intercepts it. Doesn't even really need his weapon. He just kind of headbutts the thing and stops its momentum. And even if it were to try and hit the
Jeez.
line now, it doesn't have this momentum charge to break through, and the paladins would be able to push it back.
So I get my full turn of attacks,
That's
or
fine.
just
Yeah.
okay, yeah. Then 27 for 7.
What do you want to be specifically hitting with your attacks?
How tall is this thing compared to my 7 foot something?
It's probably 40 feet tall. It's this enormous lumbering
Oh.
creature. Yes.
Oh. Well, I guess I'm trying to chop toes off.
No, it's
I didn't realize.
Pepperoni.
it's
Ankle
it's
biter.
very
I'm
large.
just like like Achilles knee.
Okay,
just-
think about it like this. So it's like, imagine a Lord of the Rings Ent, but like
Okay.
soggy with water. So it's like
Beefy.
puffed up and
Oh.
soggy. That doesn't necessarily make it tougher or stronger. It's just rotten.
Squishier.
Gross.
And so, how are you
So I'm
fighting?
just trying to take the legs. I'm trying to take its legs out enough to make it fall.
How
So I'm just
kind are you being to it? How considerate are you being of the fact that this creature is sort of fighting against its will and will eventually have to deal with the physical consequences of the injuries you deal to it?
Crunk is raging. I don't think he would.
It's
honestly,
entirely up to you, and it's all valid. Just
He would have to be stopped from doing something because he sees.
Scout is whispering in your ear the whole time, but it's still up to you to like, she's with you. She's reinforcing everything you do. But it's still totally up to you to how you do this.
Fuck. Do not give Crunk moral quandaries.
What if Scout kind of suggests like, make sure
Knock it
Denise can
over.
get-
Yeah, if Crunk
Okay, I
will
can do
take
that. I can just-
suggestions, she'll totally be
Yeah.
like, here, strike right here at the back of the knee, just like bring it down.
Yes. Yes, I'm doing that.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, you come around and like slide past it, and then bring down the back of the Whispering Blade because that's blunt, and strike it hard into the back of its knee. Right as it's like it's running. It doesn't have the ability to break its momentum really, and you strike it, and it just trips and falls over and just plows through the earth for a few feet, and it'll get up eventually, but it won't be of any consequence for the rest of this battle.
Sweet.
Okay.
I did it.
Hey.
Now,
Denise, do you want to go over there and like slurp it or whatever? Like get the corruption out of it? Can you do that?
You slurp it up real quick.
the clerics and the paladins
Lay on lips.
and the elves and fae that are with Denise don't let her leave. They're like, do not break formation.
Oh,
We have a plan and a mission. You cannot
that's fair.
break away or deviate from this. We have to fix this, and this will fix
Never mind
everything.
then.
We have to do this thing. They're like physically
Okay.
not let, like, you're like, oh, I want to, and
Letting
they
you leave.
hold you back.
Okay.
Okay. All right, that's fair.
I obey.
Like, if you really
For one,
physically
right.
tried to fight them on it, you could probably get away. But like, they're like, no, don't,
Don't worry about it.
because
She-
they're pretty
she
sure
can
Denise
save it
just needs
later.
a reminder more than anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I'll be good.
the
For now.
push is working, but there are more and more dangerous creatures coming along. More and more individuals, elves and great fae who have been lost to the corruption for forever are now arising and not only fighting but also speaking to those who are pushing, trying to speak to them and reason with them and convince them to have mercy, to hold back. Don't strike so viciously into our heartland. This is our home. Can't we have peace? And saying anything and everything to try and dissuade those attacking.
So the scouts aren't deviating us away from this, or this is even with deviation?
This is even with a deviation.
Yeah, okay.
They're,
So good.
more than
So
anything, the
it's less,
scouts are
but-
keeping you away from the giant hordes of forces. Individuals slip past the scouts fairly easily, because this is still their home ground.
That's kind of my job to just run around and pick those people off.
Yeah,
right?
so yeah, you're charging around fighting the like big monstrous things that could fight them. But there are
Yeah.
these things that are it's just an elf. It's just an elf that's corrupted, and it just like walks up to the side of it. It's not fighting. It just walks up and starts talking to people.
So
Yeah, it's just talking to people, trying to
Ignore,
dissuade them.
moving on.
Well, and that's easy for you guys to do, but the problem is you have an army to keep. How do you keep that army focused?
Persuasion
All right.
is what Lucian
what
will
I
be doing.
got.
Yeah, roll that, please.
Don't pay attention to them. They're corrupted. When they're free, they will thank us. And just repeating this mantra of know why we're here.
Mm-hmm. Why don't you
We're
roll
fighting to
persuasion
free
for
them.
me at advantage?
26.
26. That will do.
Noise.
Noise.
You're just like walking up and down the line because the line moves very slowly. So you're able to just cross from the front, go around the side, go to the back, and just go around to everywhere and reinforcing their morale where it is weak. What do you do, Denise, in the meantime? Everyone's contributing their part and you're hanging here. Is there anything you want to try to do from your position?
I'm in the middle.
Yeah, you
right? So I'm not going to have like any access to the people who would actually be affected by those.
Yeah. It's how you are kind of being held up though. You're the banner. You're this thing. You're the way that they're going to win. So like you do have a position of like to reinforce their morale, like Lucian's doing, like in some way that you find fitting.
Could I druid craft the smell of something like
no, actually, no, that works. Mel,
like,
because you have
because smell is such a strong memory inflictor. That's not what I meant to say, but that like to have something that would connect dwarves especially and or whomever would be affected to try to make them
roll me your spellcasting ability, like you're trying to cast an attack spell.
Would you like some guidance?
Sure.
I have a spell called guidance. And you get like an extra D4.
I believe that requires touch though.
Yeah, I can go give her a high five.
You're at the front. If you break formation, you're gonna like it'll break everything.
Bad things will
The
happen.
whole army is gonna turn with you.
Yeah. You'll turn the army inside out.
You're the conductor of the symphony here.
Okay. I do a little choo choo. And I keep going.
I cast with
I do a beep beep.
just a wisdom roll, maybe. Plus.
So basically, you're trying to do something like
We're gonna read.
So it'd
because
be
we're surrounded
wisdom.
by all
It
this
would be your
dead,
wisdom. Roll a
rotting
D20.
forest.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, 17 is very good. So you push forward multiple
21.
smells because you've got druids who are helping you with this. You push forward multiple smells. You push forward the smell of clean nature because that's not what people are smelling right now. They're smelling the rotted, horrible, corrupted forest. So you push this forward to just help them not be discouraged as much. And then a separate smell for the dwarves. They smell the halls of their homes. They smell the earth and the stone and the ale of their home. A place that is safe, because they're in a faraway place from their home. They're in a scary place, a place that if they fail their mission, they are stuck there and they will never go home. So this helps a lot.
Yay!
And now, all of a sudden, the army breaks through into a clearing. This place that is blasted. The earth is this just black muck that is shaped in ripples away from the center. There's no trees, no creatures, nothing in this space. When you're the first to step into this space, and it's just this black mud, and in the center, this obelisk, this stone pillar on its own, emanating this corruption. You can see it now, this waves of black and red going across the ground and through the air. And it is very hard to step forward. Nothing's in your way, but it is hard to take steps forward.
Okay.
But you are now maybe 50 feet away from this center. And you're having trouble going in, and the clerics and paladins next to you are having even tougher time. Like it's very hard to step into this space. It's the front is kind of not breaking, but beginning to just envelop and shape around this central area because they just don't want to go in. It's really hard to step in.
Okay.
And it's open for anyone to do anything, how they're going to do this.
Golly, all these are for creatures. Does this obelisk happen to be a creature?
No.
Okay.
I attack the gazebo.
Your effect on it will be a lot less, I think, important than your ability to affect the people with you. If you can get them forward, then eventually Denise should be able to get to this thing.
Hey, about that spell you
Okay.
mentioned earlier.
What, guidance? Or
No,
the
the
other
other
one?
one.
Okay. Yeah. Hold on. I'm reading my other spells in case there's something interesting here.
Is there anything else anyone else is trying to do to? Because Lucian, you see this that
Here we
like
go.
at this point, the morale is fine everywhere else, but on the front, it is
Mhm.
like they cannot walk forward. Nothing's physically
Would
stopping
you
them.
consider?
Yes.
Would you consider this water of some kind?
You want to control water?
Yes.
I don't.
But
Not again.
not as badly
Oh,
this
no.
time.
I don't think
No
that
more
would
rivers of poo.
help because it's not a physical thing that's holding them back. The mud is like, I don't know, like almost a foot thick. It's tough to walk through, but that's not what's holding people back. It's the thing.
Oh.
It's in their head.
Okay.
It's in their soul that's preventing them from walking forward.
All right. Let me read this one more.
So
No, I
yeah,
don't
it's
want
up,
to-
open
So-
for
All
anyone
right.
to do
Yeah, I'll just
anything
use
now.
that then, I guess.
I have something called Wrath of Nature,
Mm.
which in spell form is like it against your enemies. It's you call out the spirits of nature to arouse them against your enemies. So in this case, could I turn that in a narrative sense to be more like I'm calling out to the spirits of nature that are still there, that are not corrupted,
Yeah.
to use it that way?
Using that, you can reinvigorate the Fae that are with you, the spirits and Scout and the spirits like her,
Nice.
and so they stop scouting because you know where you're going now, and they go and they
Right.
begin to stand next to the clerics and reinforce them like like Scout's reinforcing Crunk and help them begin to take steps forward. It's still very slow. So any help would also still be helpful, but that actually lets them actually start taking steps forward. Because they pretty much just been kind of tiptoeing on the line,
Wallowing.
not really moving forward. Now they're able to start taking steps, but it's still very hard and very slow. Anyone else want to do things?
Strength, dex, charisma, intelligence.
This is as much
I think
equipment, spells,
Lucian would.
and skills as it is narrative.
So I have enhance ability too.
You can begin to cast that and reinforce people's willpower, like their
Yeah.
wisdom, which effectively is their willpower, and help them push forward.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, you can do that, and so effectively you like touch the nearest paladins because they're, and probably yourself as well, so because you are all the people kind of breaking the line, and everything behind you has the aura helping it, and it's easier to go once someone has gone in front, similar to trekking through snow or migrating geese. So begin to move forward. You're taking it slow, but you're now making progress in towards this obelisk. Speak to me. What's
Yes.
going on?
Okay, so it's like a stone thingy just in the middle
Yep.
of the center.
Yeah, it's just this empty space. Nothing grows, nothing lives, and you're just pushing through the mud towards this obelisk of kind of black and red stone. I'm not looking at the chat. Y'all need
Okay.
to.
Don't look at the chat.
No, don't.
Stay away.
Is it
Stay
like?
very far away.
See, when I imagine an obelisk, for some reason, I imagine it going out and like in really quick, and it's like kind of balanced on this smaller, so it'd be like easy-ish to push.
Oh,
But
sorry.
I'm assuming.
I mean
you
obelisk.
more
I
like
almost
a
mean like a totem.
The Washington Monument.
statue.
Like
it's
yeah,
more
or like the
the
Washington Monument thing. Like it's
yeah,
just this
yeah, okay.
thing sticking
Yeah,
out of
that
the
thing
ground.
that Crunk is
That's
pointing
why
at,
I was
actually.
asking, because I was like,
Yeah.
it's one of those two.
Yeah.
But it's still like smashable, right?
Potentially.
Range.
Again, similarly, the true challenge is less physical and more spiritual.
Okay, so Lucian would like to use thaumaturgy to just like broadcast to the entire army. Push forward. Lend us your energy, your happiness. Remember why we're here. Fight for the forest, and just kind of like try and get that surge of goodness and goodwill moving forward.
And they begin to take a few more steps forward, and they are going, and they continue to take steps, but at about the 15 feet away from the obelisk, it gets to the point of it's impossible to take steps forward. Like, Lucian, you can go to the front and test it, and Win is right there and can test it, and just it's not possible. There is not strength in an ordinary person or even exceptional people like Win or Lucian to break through this. It's just, this is as far as you go, but maybe that's enough.
Can we
Okay.
attack
Spit at it.
Can I do Sacred Flame, I guess? Because that's like a...
At this point,
I cast a magic
Is it
missile
time
at the
for me?
darkness?
powers do not avail you here. It's
Mhm.
probably
Well, what's
time
the point
for
of coming
Denise.
here? What are we supposed to do?
It's
Oh,
my
right.
time.
It's slurping time. Let's get it done.
I brought my straw.
Lick the rock. Lick the
Oh,
rock.
rock. No, don't lick the
I'm
rock.
assuming that
I learned this
not-
lesson. Don't lick rocks.
Oh, right. I'm assuming this is not very enheartening for the
So-
clerics and paladins around us.
Like, these fucks have no idea what they're
What? This
They're
was your
like,
plan?
what?
So Denise, tell
Hey.
me what's going
Nom,
on.
nom, nom.
Okay, so we get to this point, and I look around and see that everybody is just kind of frozen, like they can't move forward. Is
Yeah.
kind of what I'm seeing.
It's like a hold person from within. Like, they just cannot get their body to move forward. It's the self-preservation that's not just like physically your body doesn't want to touch a fire, but your soul does not want to touch fire. They just cannot
Gotcha.
step farther forward.
And I assume I feel this, but maybe not as badly, or I don't feel it at all.
You feel, I mean, you're in the center of the aura. You're feeling fairly fine. You feel and smell and
Okay.
taste in the air this not so greatness that's going on, but you're actually still feeling all right.
I feel good. Okay, so I'm gonna then start to just make my way forward, since they're not gonna be able to stop me now, right? Like if I just kind of push my way.
Yeah, no, people aren't stopping you at all.
Okay.
And they probably couldn't
So-
if they wanted to.
Okay. Well, seeing as I'm apparently lively and wanting to go forward over this thing, I'm gonna can I acrobatics over all these paladins and
Yeah.
clerics and people? Because I feel like pushing them out of the way may be more problematic than jumping over them.
Okay.
Uh,
Roll it.
For
That
you,
sounds
I-
great.
alright.
Zip, 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 zip. Parkour.
Right? I mean,
Just cartwheel over everyone.
acrobatics, I assume.
Yeah, sure. Or what? That's a 1. That's an at 1.
Okay, so I
Did you
go
wanna
to
use
jump
an
off the
advantage?
first guy, and I
You
fall
just do a
off.
forward flip onto the nearest paladin.
Don't you have advantage you could maybe use?
I think it's a little cheap to retroactively use this.
Fair.
So you
I should have
are
given
like,
you a
okay,
high five.
I need to get up there. So you try and take a jump, and it's hard to jump in mud. It really is. And so you're just like,
Never mind.
and just belly flop, just right into the mud.
Oh. Well, never
Alright.
mind.
Assuming
I'll
I
just push
would've-
my way through.
We can do it. Give
more
us your
Monday.
power. Are you all right?
I'm fine.
You
It's
just
fine. I'm fine.
crawl through the mud and get yourself out. You stand up in front of everyone, now past the front line, completely
Covered in
filthy.
mud.
This is all part of it. If I am
Prestidigitation.
covered in it, it helps me to absorb things better. This was totally on purpose.
Prestidigitate the mud back on.
You can grab me later, Jack. Thanks. Or sorry, Lucian. Anyway, so I'm gonna go forward and I don't know. I guess I just put my hands out.
All right. So I feel like something this
Put your hands
important
up.
requires a roll. But I also feel like
Power.
you should tell me what roll that is. And you should tell me what the consequences of failing are and what the consequences of success are.
No pressure.
No pressure. You want to
well,
be DM
okay,
for a
so
minute?
we've been going forward,
Yep.
and like everybody has to roll. Like they've been wisdom saving,
Yeah, it's
basically,
willpower
right? Like
to
that
push
was
through. And you have a
So-
little bit of issue, but you get to it. Now this is you fighting this thing, absorbing this thing, which so
your
far
time.
has not been a problem. But this
So-
is the purest form of this corruption. And maybe that might
Right.
be too much to go entirely unscathed.
right.
But
So
I'm
I'm
handing it
thinking
over
it's
to
a
you.
wisdom save because that's kind of what we're going up against.
sounds
It's
reasonable.
something that would hurt me wisdom wise.
Hurt me,
If
brain.
it
Hurts me brain.
exactly. Like I think it would be a
Yeah.
brain like
Be a drain.
maybe
A brain drain.
I don't know if it would be like permanent damage per se, but like I think if I seriously fail on attempting this, that I would be scared away at the very least.
do you
and if
think
it's a
that
like-
something similar to what's happening to your mom might happen?
Maybe.
Where you have it, but you can't get rid of it.
Where you can fix
Maybe.
everyone else. You can get it,
But I
but
can't.
it's stuck in you.
I mean, that's a possibility. Yeah.
You don't like it, but it makes sense.
Yeah, basically. I guess.
What,
well, that's why it's called.
so I think the only thing that I'm going to enforce is the DC.
What?
Other than that, you pick the roll, you pick the consequence, you get final say on the consequence, and all that. So
So I think like
Too bad I'm not doing this.
a moderate failure would be like I am affected for a time, like maybe a week, maybe a month, and then like a crit fail would be like I'm screwed. I'm like my mom now. I can't. I just am. I have it with me forever.
all right.
Okay, wisdom save. 25.
25. It's very good.
Boom!
Whew.
So you put your hand on it and it begins to dissolve. It's like running water over ice in your sink. Like it just begins to just break away and dissolve where you touch it, and you just entirely disintegrate this thing, and it flows into your fingertips, into your veins, and you see this blackness flowing across your arms to your heart. And you see it going, you can see it's so black. You can see it through your skin. You can see your heart filled with blackness. And you see your heart consume it and totally and completely destroy it. And it is gone, and you're normal, and you can see the sun.
Wow.
Mission accomplished.
That I don't want to do that again. That was really weird.
Am I still super far away?
No, you're like 15 feet behind Mets, behind Denise.
Okay, I'm gonna run over and just sort of like grab her and like a hug, like yeah, around the
Yeah.
ankles apparently, but
Yeah,
yeah,
it's an awkward angle to
Right.
do that.
because I'm small.
Send up a cheer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I definitely will.
everyone does a cheer, and you see that the stuff around you is still all blackened and moldy and yucky, but it's just a like it's just a mildewy
yucky.
forest. It's just a kind of yucky, wet forest.
A swamp.
Yeah, it's kind of swampy. It's just black, but it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just a bit dirty.
It's just a little gross.
Yeah.
It's a swamp. It's black. Just tap it for some mana.
Oh, Magic the Gathering. Wonderful.
And immediately the Fae begin to sprint around to aid those that were corrupted, and stuff immediately starts to look better. Everywhere that the Fae walk, flowers and grass and plants begin to sprout up. They just leave trails of life wherever they go. Never split the party, rated with a party of 9. Thank you very much.
Yay!
It's very nice.
Welcome.
Yeah. And Scout gives you
Very cool.
gives Crunk a hug for helping so much in the fight. The dwarves are very happy. No one died of their forces.
Hey!
Although none of them are
Huzzah!
going to be forgetting
were
that
worried
experience
About that.
for a long time.
Right?
And the
Very cool.
Well, yeah, okay. That was
We
really
just killed a
anticlimactic, to be
forest.
honest. I thought it was going to be a lot more like,
That-
and like,
Yeah.
Yeah, more
Crunk was ready to
fighty.
smash.
yeah, I was like, we're gonna bust this obelisk, but it was just,
Nah.
The power of love and poison
yeah.
well, the power
and
of wisdom.
neutralizing bases.
Poison Ivy's doing her thing, man. It's working.
So you got a 25, which is amazing. So I think again, it's mostly narrative and up to you how that happens, but you've kind of conquered this stuff.
You leveled up,
Ooh,
but
what's
not
that
like
mean?
leveled up, but like your poison leveled up.
Poison absorption leveled up.
No, more like you, in a similar way that you're a master of poison, you've mastered this stuff.
Like a
Ah.
master of corruption.
So
You're not going to be using it in combat, really. But it's more of a
But I
narrative
could.
thing. But it's
So for our friends that I failed to defeat last time we encountered them, I have a way to maybe make their animals a little sickly.
sure whatever you think.
Wow, that's the first thing you went to, you monster.
I mean, I was thinking
What
maybe
else am I
helping
gonna
your
do with poison?
mom or something, but like,
Even your mom.
You got a little.
I'm a terrible
You
daughter.
got corrupted, but it was by Lucian,
Deep-seated
not
like
the-
emotional wound. I'm gonna fuck some people's shit up.
She's been hanging around Crunk too much.
Oh, mom too. I would have gotten there eventually. Maybe.
And it's not like she's gonna run out of her new power.
Us and our complicated, family issues, except for Crunk.
Yeah.
My family is great.
no, no, you all have it. You all have complicated family issues. Win
It's just different
has
kinds
a
of
I have-
brother.
I have-
Crunk
his
has
parents are-
his brother. Lucian has his whole family. Denise has all of her mom's stuff. Like, that's. And I mean,
I don't even have it, Ad.
I only did
Welcome
a little
to
bit of
Eggs
that
You have a
stuff.
hat.
Like, it was mostly all on you guys doing really cool and interesting stuff. So, great job.
Okay. You're the one who invented my brother.
That's true. I made him up.
Yeah,
But
Hit him up. I didn't even know
that
about
was
him.
pretty cool though.
That was
It
amazing.
was really fucking cool. I mean, I already did kind of have like a complicated family
yeah.
thing going on in my
Worked
own
out great
head,
for
but
that.
that was like totally unrelated.
I
So we just
approve the new
An ancient forest.
The slogan.
So,
complicated family
I'm
issues.
gonna
and
guess the
wibbly
Fae and
wobbly
the elves are a
morality.
little
oh
happy.
yeah, they're happy, and they've got a lot of work to do. So they're working on that. And also the ambassador
I
didn't
guess we
come
should
on this
skedaddle.
like raiding party thing because he's
Well, of
not
course
a
not.
warrior in any
He's an
fashion.
ambassador.
But he will later speak to you and
Who?
send the ambassador
Oh,
from the
right.
elves will relay their gratitude and says that though they remain a separate nation, the Fae and the Elves... Well, no, actually, the Fae and the Elves are becoming one nation, and they are allies of whatever you're calling your kingdom, which is the
You should
last
just call it the Mimic Nation.
thing that Blackshire, the Dragonborn, wants to talk to you about, which is...
What do we call
In
ourselves?
the local culture, the tradition is that when you take control over other people's things, usually it was guilds taking, like, you know, a mining operation or something away from another guild. It's customary to rename it. So, according to custom, you're supposed to rename this nation that you've taken over. You don't have to, because you're the kings and queens and all that, so you can do whatever you want, but that's the local custom.
What was it called before?
Unimportant.
Wow.
Well, yeah, we're definitely going to want to rename it then.
So
That's a really
Feywild-
lame
The
name.
Feywild
unimportant is
Confederate-
awful.
Specifically the cities,
Sorry,
the
Feywild.
area that you directly control is your sort of
Oh,
vassals.
not the Elven
no, not
nation,
the Elven
right?
people.
No,
they are a separate
Oh,
nation.
no, they're going to handle that.
They're gonna handle all that stuff. It's the cities, and Lucian would know this as well. This is a
So we
standard
have like
practice of
Kronkland and Deniseland and Winland.
Winland is a good one.
Winland.
It's actually,
is actually a really good one.
It's actually a
It is
real
actually really good.
sounding.
Lucianland.
Lucian Land sounds like a theme
However,
park.
you don't have to do it right now, because right now is a great place to end the
You should see
session
what kind of rides we
Nah.
have.
and do it
Oh dear.
between
You should come to Kronkland.
sessions. I think probably best. So
Yeah, we'll
Sounds
let you
good.
guys know next.
thank you
session will
all very
sign
much for playing my silly game. And
I love it.
I
Thank you for letting
Thank
us.
you, Raiders, for coming by.
Yes.
We
Yes.
greatly
Very much.
appreciate you.
and we'll be playing some more in a couple of weeks. I'm sure that
Oh.
people watching. Oh yes.
When is a couple
Yeah,
of
2 weeks.
That's Christmas.
Oh, we sure won't be in 2 weeks.
Okay. Well.
Yeah, nope, that won't be happening.
That's not happening.
Sorry.
So
You don't
So
want
it's
to
gonna be a
stream
month.
with your children. You don't
I
want
will
to.
be in a car on my way to South Dakota, so no.
yeah. So I guess it'll
Are you
be.
sure you don't want to stream?
Are you sure?
Well,
I'm sure you could pull it off with
just my mobile phone.
just your phone
Yeah, here's.
It's fine. You just,
You
I
have a
hope your data
laptop?
plan's good.
and a Wi-Fi hotspot.
No. All right. No, that's fine. That's fine. We can do it. We can do it
Okay,
in what would be a month, and that's fine.
we'll figure it out. It's okay.
I'm sure after watching all of
Not
that
too bad.
nonsense, people would want to find other things that you all do on the
do.
internet.
Yeah, they're all like, wow.
Well, boy,
That's
do I
enough of
have some
that.
suggestions.
So, what other things do you all do on the internet, and where can people find that stuff? Let's start in the order that I taught you at the beginning of the session.
All right, so that would be me. I am Thanrand. I am Thanrand everywhere on the internet, mostly Twitter and Twitch. You can find me here every second, fourth, and fifth Tuesday of the month, except for this month, with the Mimic Nights with all of these wonderful people, and then every Friday night on this very channel with the Dragon Heist campaign we're running that Capjack is a part of, and on Thursday nights on my own personal channel, twitch.tv/Thanrand. I don't know what I'm going to be playing. Probably Path of Exile because I'm addicted. Yeah, that's me.
Excellent. I am Metz Girl. You can find me over on the Twitters by that name and in all the Discords. I have a Service Desk podcast in which we talk about tech issues and try to explain them in a very basic way so that even the less tech savvy can understand. And then I'm also on Beholder's Eye podcast, no article in front of that, where I play Zalara, a wood elf monk. And here every second, fourth, and fifth Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Jack.
That leads it to me. Hey everybody, I'm Capjack, or at Captain J Cross on the Twitters and in general across the internet as well. You can find me here all over Welcome to the Party, typically on the second, fourth, and fifth Tuesday nights here with the Mimic Knights, as well as alternating Thursdays is our Pokemon 5th edition game that I play in, where we play Team Rocket but effective Team Crossbones, where we like to kick Pokemon and take names. And then on Fridays, as Than mentioned, I'm in the Dragon Dark Days campaign, and it is fantastic. Now, you might be wondering, well, what happens on those first and third Tuesdays? Well, starting this coming week is going to be our Eclipse Phase game, and it's going to be awesome. So tune in for the first one of that next Tuesday. And then there's going to be some new interesting things coming up in the new year, so keep an eye out for those. And if you liked what you saw tonight and you want to see a lot more of it, go and check out our YouTube. It is thoroughly updated. You can catch almost all the past episodes, unlike the missing episode, which we're going to do like a podcast recording of. It's going to be great. So come and check us out. And that's not a exclamation. I'll fix that.
And that would be Win next.
And me.
Yeah.
So, let's see. I am also going to be in the Eclipse Phase game on the other next Tuesday, and then through the new. I guess we're gonna. I thought we were gonna start after the new year, but we're doing like a session 0 next Tuesday. Is that what it is?
That's cool.
Oh yeah.
So you can catch me there, and then I've also started doing Welcome to Codiset, which is our late night Wednesday game that starts at 12 a.m. Eastern time.
You're going to be doing two games
Wednesday night.
on Wednesday?
Yeah, I'm
Wow.
playing 2 games tomorrow. One of them is not streamed. The first one is not going to be streamed, so pretend I didn't say anything.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, Welcome to Codicets tomorrow.
Awesome.
And that's weekly, so tune into that. We've only done two episodes so far, so it's easy to catch up with.
Yeah.
And you can find me on Twitter at MimicSomicChan, and but I'm mostly active in the Discord. I don't really tweet a lot. I'm not very tweetly.
All right, and I am...
And that's me.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that is you. And I am Shogun. I am Shogun117 on Twitter, and I run this game every second, fourth, and fifth Tuesday. I also run Shadowrun every other Thursday, which I'm trying to let everyone know is an open game. You can continue to DM me in the Discord, and it's 4th edition, and it's open for anyone to join. It's drop in, drop out. You don't have to commit to a long term. You can show up for just one session if that's all you have time for. So that's on the evenings on every other Thursday, and I also play in the Pokemon game that's on the other Thursdays with Capjack and other awesome people. It's a really, really, really fun game. And also I will be involved in some of the new things that are upcoming on the channel. So yeah, we're gonna go raid Dungeons and Distractions in just a second. And yeah, thank you all very, very much for watching. I'd love to see you in the Discord if I could. All of you are invited to it. There's a link down below.
Please join us.
Bye, everybody.
It's amazing.
Bye.
I will give you cookies.
What
We'll
cookies?
give you cookies.
All the